Yeah.
Yes. It's so high.
Pace setters. She's setting the pace. Imbi anakupeleka si mchezo.
Called it military time. You won't keep up. Okay, take it away, Jen.
But nonetheless, good morning, and welcome once again to Good Morning Kenya. I am Jen Boy kama kawaida. We always appreciate that you always choose to start your morning with us right here. It is Thursday, and as we always say, Thursday is the new Friday in Dania. Good Morning Kenya, and we'd absolutely love to know where you're watching us from today. So check in. Use the hashtag Good Morning Kenya on Twitter. We will be giving you our individual handles in a bit, but the official station handle is at KBC Channel 1. Mrs. O.
Hey.
Hey.
How you doing?
Good.
Fine.
Good morning everyone, as well as our viewers.
Mimi najua kwa nini Dorina amebambika.
Unajua nilikuwa nisha get kwa the serious part of this intro, but munacheka.
Me, I know.
Why are you so happy? Fadhili asks.
Me, I know.
Asking for someone.
Asking for who, Mr. Director?
For the director.
Yes.
See, new Thursday, the new Friday.
Oh yeah.
Ukisema hivyo.
And nimesmile by the kubwa. Good.
Yeah.
Notice.
Yeah, clearly.
Aya, take it away. Tuko serious sasa.
Good morning everyone. Good morning our viewers from whichever place you're watching us from. We always appreciate you joining us, and it is Thursday, so definitely we have a lot in store for you. Time to take it easy, light on matters entertainment. That is all we have in store for you this Thursday morning, as well as various other conversations, including the dailies and the news, as well as how our roads will also be looking like. So clearly a lot up until 10 a.m. We urge you to stay put up until that time. Many thanks for making time. I'm Doreen Arange Okelo.
Very well said. Huh?
See the smile now.
I'll try to be a little bit serious.
Let me tell you the first word Troy is going to say.
Yes.
Indeed.
Yes.
Atasha indeed
And
already.
indeed, it's
Ndio hiyo.
And you
it feels so good to be here early.
Yes.
For
Yeah.
those who don't know about military time. It's around what? It's around 6:30, 6:40. Yes, quite early indeed, but I'm so happy I was here by 5 in the a.m. You can't dispute that because I was here before you guys. But anyway, good morning, guys.
Give you the benefit of
so
doubt.
Good to be here. A lot in store. Thursday's a new Friday, as Jane as well put it. And definitely, we are here for you. Karibu sana.
Leo una mengi ya kusema.
Nimeongea kutoka 5, imagine. Kutoka 5.
Basi. Hashtag once again is Good Morning Kenya. Official station handle is at KBC Channel 1. Troy, give us your social handles.
At Ben Troy Njue.
D.
At Doreen Arange.
Mr. Vic.
At Victor Ulo.
And at Jane. One boy. We'll be back.
In a moment. Gotcha.
Good morning once again. It's time for the news, where we begin with President Uhuru Kenyatta has tasked the new General Service Unit officers joining the National Police Service to serve the country with courage, integrity and discipline. The head of state, who presided over the 48th passing out parade of 2,502 General Service Unit police officers at Embakasi, Nairobi, said the officers will play an integral role in enhancing security of the country and the region at large. President Kenyatta urging the officers to offer their services with diligence, abide by the law, while at the same time upholding the rights of every Kenyan.
It was the culmination of 9 months basic police training for the 2,502 General Service Unit police officers who are passing out at the National Police Training College, Embakasi B campus in Nairobi. President Uhuru Kenyatta urging the graduates to serve with diligence and preserve the rights of the members of the public.
As custodians of public safety and our internal security, you are the watchers on the wall who safeguard our rights, our freedoms, and our way of life. You must live true to the oath you have taken, and at all times, whether on duty or otherwise, be model officers whom others can emulate.
The head of state noting that his government had made tremendous efforts in improving security by enhancing the workforce and providing modern equipment to deal with emerging crime in the 21st century.
You are today joining the security sector at a time when significant security-related reforms have and continue to be implemented to reposition and align our security capability to the ever-changing security environment.
Noting that the ratio of police officers to Kenyans had increased, President Kenyatta said reforms in the National Police Service has seen the welfare of officers improve, with provisions made for housing, medical insurance and motor vehicle leasing program. The GSU officers will now be deployed to various parts of the country to enhance security efforts, including peacekeeping across the region.
You are also joining the service at a time of simmering tensions across our entire region, and in particular, the Great Lakes and Horn of Africa regions are currently experiencing waves of insecurity emanating from terrorism as well as civil unrest. With such challenges right at our doorstep, we expect you to maintain heightened vigilance and to be prepared to respond in unique missions and operating scenarios.
There isn't a single assignment that the GSU service has undertaken where we have had any failure of any kind. We are proud of this unit.
We will continue improving our service delivery and making them more responsive to citizens' needs as your directives.
And still on that pass-out parade, President Uhuru Kenyatta has called on the law enforcement officers to reach out to their families, colleagues, or senior officers when faced with problems that are detrimental to their mental health instead of resorting to violence. The head of state said the government is working on a raft of measures to help those grappling with mental illness. President Kenyatta spoke when presiding over the pass-out parade of General Service Unit police officers in Embakasi, Nairobi.
And mental health is also a real problem. But it is a problem that can be addressed if you reach out. Hakuna haja saa ingine ya kufanya vitendo ambavyo tunaona. Bunduki yako ni ya kulinda maisha, sio ya kuchukua maisha. Lakini haswa kwenu nyinyi, na waomba na wasii, ukiona uko na shida, iwe ni shida ya kinyumbani, iwe ni shida ya kikazi, tafuta mwenzako, tafuta ofisa mkubwa wako, tafuta family member wako, muongee naye.
From that to some politics now, where the Mount Kenya Foundation has endorsed ODM leader Raila Odinga for president. The foundation says Odinga has proven that he has what it takes to unite Kenyans and steer the country towards the right economic trajectory. The announcement made by the foundation is seen as a cherry on top of Odinga's long-standing presidential ambitions. The endorsement also comes just a day before ODM leader makes known his next political move in a grand ceremony at the Kasarani Stadium.
Welcome. Karibu Baba. Karibu sana. Karibu sana. That we recognize Azimio la Umoja as an articulation of the future we desire as a region, as it guarantees peace and safety of our people, property, business and land. That Azimio la Umoja guarantees the continuity of the legacy and the projects implemented by President Uhuru Kenyatta. That through Azimio la Umoja, Honorable Raila Odinga has demonstrated a willingness to address the interests of our region, secure Kenya's peace and economy, and safeguard public resources from plunder.
Under the leadership of His Excellency the President Uhuru Muigai Kenyatta, if we are not given us the blessings today for us to go to Azimio, we would not have been here because he is our Mudhamaki.
People have seen around Baba are people who can form a credible government. I have seen people who can run an economy, people who can run agriculture, people who will support farmers to produce more instead of importing fertilizer and maize to make quick money. That is the solution we want for this country. So I want to say we support you, Baba, for what you guys are doing here. Tell you that we are together with you, but I'm not going to respond to the requests until Friday. On Friday, mimi nitatoa jawabu.
Elsewhere, Deputy President William Ruto has urged Kenyans to be wary of politicians keen on dividing them for selfish gains. The DP, who took his bottom-up economic model campaign to Kisii County, asked leaders to embrace peace and unity as they campaign.
The Hustler Brigade took their vote-hunting campaign to Kisii County Wednesday. Deputy President William Ruto reiterating his call to Kenyans to support him while urging them to shun divisive politics.
Na musijali, mukiona watu wanaleta fujo, mujue ya kwamba tumewashinda na akili. Hawana mpango, hawana sera. Ndio wanaendelea na mambo ya mafujo.
We do not want to be incited. Hatutaki kuwip emotions za 2007 na 2008.
I want to say that is petty politics. It is politics of regression and it is dangerous politics.
The UDA party alleging schemes to disrupt peaceful coexistence among Kenyans, which Ruto says were being executed by his political detractors, including senior government officials.
It is me who created the government with Uhuru Kenyatta. We hired you to work for us and to work for the people of Kenya.
You cannot bite the hand that is feeding you. Wakati unaanza kuzungumza matope, ukumbuke ya kwamba ulipewa kazi na Mheshimiwa Uhuru Kenyatta na Mheshimiwa William Samoei Ruto.
The leaders saying the Kenyan voters have come of age and that plans to incite them will not succeed.
Wanataka kutuendesha kutumia rea mira. Mimi nataka niwaambie, ukitumia rea mira kupeleka Kenya, utagongesha Kenya chini.
And still on matters polls, politicians have only 24 hours to conduct fundraising or make donation as provided for in Section 26 of the election law. The Independent Electoral and Boundaries Commission says anyone found fundraising or donating in Harambes past the 9th of December will be automatically disqualified from contesting in the 2022 general election. Chebukati, who met officers or officials from the National Council of Churches of Kenya, said plans for the 2022 general polls are on course and that there will be a final mass voter registration exercise in March 2022 after funds were availed for another exercise.
The window to fundraise for political aspirants seeking to contest in the 2022 general election closes Thursday, the 9th of December 2021. IEBC has already issued a red alert that under Section 26 of the election law, those who will be found violating the provision will have to kiss goodbye in having their name in the ballot in 2022 general election.
Tunafuata sheria. Sheria inasema 8 months to election, Rambes must stop. That's in the law. Now, to enforce the law, it's now within the hands of the DPP. That is for him to enforce the law.
Speaking after meeting members of the clergy allied to NCCK in Limuru, Kiambu County, IEBC chairperson Wafula Chebukati said the commission has received additional 8 billion shillings and will be undertaking another mass voter registration exercise in March 2022 before embarking on cleaning the voters register.
Giving us an additional sum of 8 billion. Part of which then we shall use once it goes through the supplementary one process in Parliament. That's the money we are going to use, part of it for the second phase of the voter registration.
The clergy challenging the commission to raise above board and ensure that the 2022 general election is credible, devoid of any malpractices, to instill confidence in Kenyans.
With all the promises of any economic model and all the promises being made, it makes us think that Kenya by December 2022 shall be a little heaven. But with the promises of 2017, are we there? Promises made in 2013, are we there? How about those made in 2007? Are we there? Or 2008 and 2002? We are still not there.
We hope that the servers will not be far away land because we can host them here in Kenya. The commission to try and look backwards. If there are decisions that you made earlier that require quorum, that those are ratified by the full commission.
Let's now shift focus to the war against COVID-19, where the Ministry of Health has scaled up the fight against COVID-19 by authorizing places of worship to be used as immunization centers in the next phase of mass vaccination. Interfaith Religious Council of Kenya will partner with UNICEF in the campaign that is dubbed Imani na Chanjo ya COVID-19, which seeks to use religious leaders as influential people to convince the faith communities to take up the vaccines. This comes as the government races against time to beat the target of vaccinating 10 million Kenyans by the end of the year.
According to the Ministry of Health, slightly above 20 million doses of COVID-19 vaccine have been received in the country since the immunization journey began. Currently, only 7.6 million doses have been administered. Of these, 3 million have been fully administered and 4.6 partially taken. 13 million doses are in storage facilities.
Most of these vaccines also have a shelf life. They have a limited shelf life. And if we are not able to utilize them within good time, we stand the risk of losing these vaccines.
Chief Administrative Secretary for Health, Dr. Rashid Amana, says the low uptake has seen health officials adopt measures in a bid to raise the vaccinated population.
Religious leaders and local faith actors are universally recognized as influential people in our society.
This undertaking is aimed at facilitating and making it easy for vaccination services to be easily accessible to our faithfuls.
We still believe as religious leaders that persuasion is the way to go. There should not be any way of coercing Kenyans or forcing Kenyans to take vaccination. But we have our duty as leaders to ensure that Kenyans take vaccination.
More vaccines are expected into the country, and health officials hope that the mass immunization campaign will inspire uptake. Dr. Aman says the response in the mass vaccination drive will determine the next course of action.
If we are able to reach our target of vaccination, if we are able to have a larger number of people vaccinated, if the attitudes of our population change and we see people coming out, I don't think that we will take that route.
Meanwhile, the Ministry of Health has promised to recognize the efforts of the medical engineers during the COVID-19 pandemic.
One of the commitments that Waziri has given and one of the messages he's asked me to pass to you
is that he shall soon be honoring in an international conference amongst yourselves some of the medical engineers who contributed in the COVID-19 pandemic. And the president shall be in that meeting as well. And so there are good things coming.
Health Chief Administrative Secretary Dr. Mercy Mwangangi spoke on the first day of the 8th Scientific Conference of the Association of Medical Engineers of Kenya being held in Kakamega County.
On that note, we're taking a quick breather, but we still have more news on the other side of this short commercial break.
Log on to the KBC website at www.kbc.co.ke to get the latest breaking news, entertainment, sports, politics, lifestyle or business trends from Kenya and around the world. Never miss new episodes from your favorite TV shows, reruns and movies. Just stream online or watch live on your YouTube channel at KBC Channel 1 TV shows. For the day's biggest stories, trustworthy news and family entertainment, log on to KBC Channel 1. Watch what you want anytime, anywhere.
They are taking joke of what you know for reality is what is disturbing you or what is alien to you.
Yes.
So I could urge people not to use wazimu as a descriptive word, to be more polite.
Yeah.
And I don't think why everything is associated with madness.
Yes.
Because everything you will feel people talking about it. Even the jokes.
Yes.
The best joke people make.
It's true.
They make about
people say we are niwazim. I think I'm also guilty of it, Sammy, to be honest.
Development follows roads. Whenever a road is opened, the economic activities are always part.
Tumefurahia sana kwa president wetu juu ametutengenezea hii barabara. Hata mashamba yetu sasa itakuwa na value, na hiyo tumeshukuru sana.
Sisi ndio tuna build the country. The future is in our hands.
Yote haya kwenye KBC Channel 1 Ijumaa saa 2:30 usiku.
Welcome back. We are glad you're watching. Moving on, police in Kisumu County are investigating any terror links to a suicide attack that left 3 people dead and a 14-year-old girl injured in Kamloma village, Nyakach sub-county. Report indicate that the main suspect, John Pope Odhiambo, has been on the police radar after he allegedly attacked his wife with an improvised explosive device a year ago in Pap Onditi.
Wednesday morning, a forensic analysis gets underway for possible evidence at the home of the elderly couple that was killed last evening by a man suspected to have
Elsewhere, 3 more miners have been rescued alive from Ambimbo gold mines in Siaya County that collapsed on Thursday last week. This brings the total number of those rescued from the 500-foot deep mines to 6. One body was last week retrieved from the rubble. Rescue efforts for one more miner who is still trapped in the rubble continue. While confirming the successful operation, Bondo Deputy County Commissioner Richard Karani said the mission will still continue to rescue the remaining miner who is still trapped in the mine.
Put a lot of effort to ensure that we have a lot of facilities on the ground to ensure that the search ends well.
Karani noted that those rescued were in stable condition and had been taken to Bondo Hospital for treatment.
2 that were brought in on the second had some injuries because the rubbles landed on them together with the dust that went through their noses.
Naomba serikali kama anaweza tupatia kazi nyingine ya kufanya, tuachane na hii kazi ya kuchimba dhahabu kwa sababu hii kazi ya kuchimba dhahabu imeshaua watu wengi sana.
Siaya County Commissioner Mohamed Bare, who had visited the accident scene earlier, urged miners to take precaution, adding that the government will scrutinize the small-scale mining industry in the region to avert more disasters. The rescue mission was a joint effort undertaken by local miners, the Kenya Red Cross Society, in collaboration with national and county government. The government, through the Ministry of ICT, Innovation and Youth Affairs, is implementing programs to empower the youth and improve their livelihood. Speaking during a regional youth consultative summit on peace and security, CS Ministry of Defense Eugene Wamalwa said the government is making deliberate efforts to ensure more young people are at the forefront of decision-making process. These stories and more in our county news roundup.
The Cabinet Secretary, Ministry of Defense Eugene Wamalwa, who attended the summit, said deliberate measures have been implemented in the country towards incorporating the youth at the forefront on decision-making processes by ensuring young people are considered as critical stakeholders.
As a government, we shall adopt and uphold resolutions from this summit to firm up ongoing peace and security initiatives in our region. And as my colleague has said, we undertake to ensure that whatever resolutions will be reached, as government, we will work with you towards realizations or realization of these resolutions that you make here today.
And the county government of Nakuru has been urged to halt issuance of passenger picking and dropping bays for public service vehicles at a newly constructed bus park. London Ward Member of County Assembly Anthony Nzugi said concern has been raised over what he termed illegal allocations by the county father, noting stakeholders in the transport sector had not been involved in the exercise.
Liki Nyanjui kuna mali ulitoa watu. Na ulipowatoa ilikuwa ni kwa sababu ya COVID. COVID imeisha na watu wamerudi kwa biashara venye inafaa. Kama ni matatu saizi zinabeba capacity ambayo ilikuwa inafaa.
Elsewhere, Mamangina Girls High School has been closed indefinitely after students attempted to torch down the school in the wee hours of Wednesday morning. Mombasa County Education Director Peter Magere confirmed the incident, saying the students attempted to torch the store located within the ablution block, but the fire was put out on time before it could cause major damage. Meanwhile, Samburu community's hope has been renewed through pasture farming on a 14-acre piece of land at Barsaloi area in Samburu North Sub-County. The farmers harvested several bales of hays, had sufficient food for their cattle, and are also able to make sales from the pasture farming. The initiative was a collaboration of Kenya Red Cross in partnership with USAID, Samburu County Government, and FAO. Finally, the United Kingdom and Kenya government have signed an MOU on medical collaboration through Kisii County Government and Kisii University. The beneficiaries of the MOU, dubbed Health Alliance, will realize creation of a framework to put up and strengthen infrastructure, mount capacity building, and a staff exchange program for health workers. Under the program, cancer management will be initiated, as a Center of Medical Excellence, which will be constructed by KBC University.
KBC University would be the major hub, and the other universities would collaborate in the area of medical education and medical excellence.
To the corridors of justice now, where High Court Judge Said Juma Chitembwe has filed a petition in court seeking to stop his removal from office. Justice Chitembwe says the video and audio recordings posted by former Nairobi Governor Mike Sonko on his social media accounts were recordings done without his consent, and the dates are not verifiable.
Justice Said Chitembwe has moved to discredit an expose by former Nairobi Governor Mike Sonko on his alleged involvement in judicial malpractice. In a series of tweets and Facebook posts, Sonko accused Chitembwe of graft and subsequently lodged a petition seeking his removal from office. Justice Chitembwe, in a petition, claims that the video and audio recordings were done without his consent and that the dates are not verifiable. Chitembwe argues that the Judicial Service Commission's reliance on the material to consider his removal is a violation of his rights to privacy. Chitembwe wants the material and all attempts to remove him from office deemed illegal. Meanwhile, Sheria Mtaani and lawyer Shadrack Wamboi have written to the Chief Justice, giving us 72 hours to respond to a letter against the decision to overlook some judicial staff in the appointment and promotion of advocates. Finally, the Road Safety Association of Kenya, through its chairman David Kiare, has filed an application seeking the return of the National Transport and Safety Authority. The association argues that the return of NTSA will help tame road carnage.
Let's now enter into the world of business, where businesses that have employees working from home have been urged to institutionalize mental health-friendly strategies. Industry experts say it should not be upon employees to achieve work-life balance, since workload and hours are determined by the company.
The ICT ministry says over 1.2 million Kenyans make a living from online work. The pandemic further pushed companies to explore remote working for survival. Experts now say the long working hours and increased unchecked workload is compromising the mental health of online workers.
Employers are a huge contributor of the mental fatigue and the mental strain on these particular individuals. For supervisors, managers, are you actually doing a weekly or monthly check-in with your employees, with the people that you've outsourced this work to?
They now want the companies to be intentional about the mental health of employees by ensuring they take a rest and have manageable workload.
It's something that we have to recognize the challenges that come with online work, and not just online work, but remote work, and learn how to encourage and actually support better the people who are doing it.
They are also calling on companies to increase outsourcing work to young people, adding that companies need not develop talent internally, yet there are already service providers online.
We invite the private sector companies, and that is all of you, to explore opportunities shared today and continue supporting this cause, where we're looking at jobs for the youth, because they are the majority. Some of us were youth once, of course we're all youth at one stage. Some of us are still youth, therefore we can provide for the future generation opportunities for them to grow and destroy or eliminate the issue of unemployment.
I would encourage local companies. The local people, the local youth, they are competent. They're already doing this work. They're just not doing it for you right now. And you can actually benefit because they have done it for companies that are at an international level, and there'll be massive knowledge transfer.
The online space has opened up more jobs, meaning that more people are working for long hours online. Companies have been urged to ensure that they put in place measures that will ensure their remote workers have a work-life balance and help their mental health.
Moving on, businesses that have employees working from home have been urged. I'm quite sure that story we had already done it a couple of minutes ago. To our next story, small businesses say access to capital to finance growth of recovery of businesses adversely affected by the COVID-19 pandemic has been their biggest challenge. We'll bring you that a little bit later. But over 4,000 small-scale farmers in 7 counties are set to benefit from a new crop insurance product that uses satellite and uploaded smartphone images to access losses. The Kenya Agriculture and Livestock Research Organization Assistant Director, Dr. Benjamin Kivuva, say the unique crop insurance using image verification is targeting small-scale farmers who may not be able to physically access insurance.
The 7 counties involved are Meru, Tharaka Nithi, Embu, Machakos, Makueni, Bungoma and Busia, where the project targets value chain crops such as maize, sorghum, beans and green grams. Under the picture-based insurance model, farmers are required to take images of crops damaged and share them with their insurers. The Kenya Agriculture and Livestock Research Organization Assistant Director, Dr. Benjamin Kivuva, says a lot of small-scale farmers practicing agriculture in less than 2-acre farms have been grappling with the challenge of crop damage due to unpredictable weather, and the new model would help them get compensation. He further says the new technology will assess losses, monitor management practices, and engage with farmers.
Those are the photographs that you are using to evaluate the crop damages that have happened during the growing season.
The PBI will be used to assess individual crop damage from a stream of crop pictures by farmers themselves, helping insurers verify claims without having to send an insurance agent into the field. The pilot project will be concluded in 2022 and thereafter be implemented for small, medium and large-scale farmers.
It's all about improving productivity and resilience among our smallholder farmers through using satellite and cell phone imagery so that we can scale climate-smart insurance.
Revisit our earlier story where small businesses say access to capital to finance growth of recovery of businesses adversely affected by the COVID-19 pandemic has been the biggest challenge. They are calling on banks to tailor products for them as well as large institutions to buy their products in a win-win business link. Here's our reporter, Wycliffe Okech, with the details.
Wednesday was a Kenyan-themed day at the ongoing 21st ESC Micro, Small and Medium Enterprises Trade Fair in Mwanza, Tanzania. Here, the key message was private sector support to small businesses in terms of funding and offering market for their products. Speakers rallied large companies and institutions to forge more business links with MSMEs to help resuscitate their businesses that in the long run would result in a win-win situation.
And I want to call all the other factories, all the large industries, to handhold our micro, small and medium enterprises, to walk with them the journey towards perfection. I would love to see most of our things here in the international and regional markets, transcending the borders of our nations alone. This will not happen without the deliberate effort of the private sector.
Speakers at the expo noted that massive job losses occasioned by the COVID-19 pandemic took a heavy toll on the informal sector, and challenges in accessing funding remain an impediment to their recovery and growth.
I want to applaud those SMEs that have withstood the vagaries of COVID-19 and request that partner states, partner governments support these people. They need as much support as they can get.
The informal sector is said to contribute about 20% to the gross domestic product of the East African community. And as part of efforts to overcome challenges of border delays, delegates proposed adoption of a common COVID-19 certificate to enable MSME proprietors travel freely across the region.
Hawa wanabiashara tunapojipanga sasa kuingia katika biashara ya Africa Continental Free Trade Area, wanahitaji tukumbuke ya kwamba bado kuna vizuizi kidogo kidogo katika mipaka yetu ambavyo vinazuia mwanabiashara mdogo kuweza kupenya.
Nchi yetu ya Kenya imekuwa ikijaribu kuhakikisha kwamba tunaondoa vikwazo katika mipaka ili kwamba Mtanzania aweze kunadi na kuuza vitu vyake nchi jirani Kenya na wale wote wanaotuzingira, ili tuwe na urahisi wa kuuza na kufanya biashara wenyewe kwa wenyewe. Kwa sababu tusipofanya hivyo, japo sisi milioni 177 katika ukanda huu, haitatusaidia kama hatuwezi ondoa vikwazo vya biashara kama nchi.
In the face of economic recovery from the effects of the COVID-19 pandemic, players in the SME sector are calling upon financial institutions to come to their aid to help them make up for the losses they incurred during the pandemic period. Wycliffe Okech reporting from Mwanza in Tanzania.
Let's now venture into the world of sport, where the National Olympic Committee of Kenya (NOC) elections will be held tomorrow, 5 years after the current officials led by President Paul Tergat were elected. The elections are held after every Olympic Games and were postponed from last year after the rescheduling of the Tokyo 2020 Olympics to this year.
Having served for a term of 4 years extended by 1 year after the rescheduling of the Tokyo 2020 Olympics, officials of the National Olympic Committee of Kenya will be back on the ballot tomorrow, seeking yet another term in office. President Paul Tergat and athletes representatives Humphrey Kayanga and Helen Obiri are the only candidates assured of their positions, having not been challenged by anyone. The position of the first deputy president has attracted 3 candidates, led by Nahashon Randiek, president of Kenya Hockey Union, who will be seeking a term in office against incumbent Shadrack Maluki of Kenya Judo Federation and John Mwangangi of the Kenya Rugby Union. Tegla Lorupe and Waithaka Kioni are the 2 candidates vying for the position of the second deputy president. There will be 3 candidates competing for the position of secretary general, as Andrew Modibo and FK Paul hope to oust Francis Mutuku from the position. 3 candidates will vie for the position of Deputy Secretary General, 2 the position of Treasurer, 2 the position of Deputy Treasurer, 7 the position of committee members, and 2 the position of Women Representative.
In other news, Kariobangi Sharks slipped to the second position in the Kenya Premier League table after losing 3-1 against Police FC in their 8th round league match that was played Wednesday at Kasarani Stadium. Sharks, who had topped the standings before the fixture, have won 5 matches, drawn in 1 match and lost in 2 so far this season. Meanwhile, Kakamega Homeboys moved up to the top of the standings after settling for a 2-2 draw against Mathare United. Held Nairobi City County Those are some of the news making headlines, but we are also keeping a keen eye in our newsroom for these activities today. There will be a Requiem Mass or a Requiem service for the victims of the Enzia River tragedy today at the St. Joseph Seminary at 10 a.m. in Mwingi. We also have the Azimio la Umoja Secretariat who are to address the press or the media at Kasarani Stadium ahead of the Azimio la Umoja Convention tomorrow at the same venue. Wasu, Kusu and Kudeha will be holding a joint presser at WASU headquarters at 10 a.m. today, and there is the launch of cash transfer program by CS Professor Margaret Kobia, who will be at Harambe House at exactly 11 a.m. Those are just some of the news articles or news items that we are keeping our eyes peeled for, and we will definitely be coming up with more in our subsequent bulletin. That's where we put a cap on this news this morning, but don't go away, we still have plenty more when we come back.
You're arrogant because you're rich. When you find yourself separated from your money, you'll learn.
We don't even know him. We were just curious. Please, go ahead. You'll let him stay here with you?
Look at him. What do you think I should do?
Do you know him? So what is this place? I'll say it one more time. I don't want to deal with you, so get lost!
Figure out how to win Jai Joy's heart and get him to kick An Ching-wan to the curb.
Why are you here? You betrayed me.
有一段故事建筑一座城堡，回放进去后就不再打。
I don't do works like magic. You know what? From today, I'll be manifesting a soft life in my life.
My friend, why are you hitting my car like a matatu? Sorry, I'm very sorry. What do you want?
Guys, I've been hacked. My account has been hacked. So how am I supposed to compete now?
Julia, do you have wearing dresses?
No. I like wearing animal skin. What kind of person is that?
From today henceforth, you should look at me as your biggest competitor in this institution. Yes. Now, and from today onwards, yes, you should wash your back. Okay? Yes. You young man, you should wash your back. Okay?
Gone? What are you doing in my compound? Sina pesa jamani, sina.
Leta pesa wewe.
Sina pesa jamani. Dema, jo. Kuna nini? I want a break. Are you going to have a baby? Yes.
Exactly 7:30 a.m. Welcome back to the program. This is still Good Morning Kenya. Time for us to look at what is and how the roads are looking like this morning, and we're just going to be focusing on State House Road again, one of those roads to get to Brancho from the major university roundabout, simply because you're also trying to just continue to track how the expressway is coming along, knowing fully well that this is just some of the roads that are being used by a good number of road users because of obviously the heavy kind of traffic on sections of Uhuru Highway as it trickles down to areas of Waiyaki. That is why this morning we will be focusing on how State House Road will be looking like as you leave areas of the University Way roundabout. Again, obviously you can remember that a section of this area around the University Way had been closed also for a while, just for ease of that construction of the expressway, which is again clearly obviously taking shape along sections or areas of Uhuru Highway as it heads over to areas of Waiyaki Way up until where it gets to terminate, and that is at the James Gishuru junction there. So this is how the major University Way roundabout is looking like, one of those busy roundabouts. So obviously what we are seeing is just basically what you will be expecting to see in this early morning hour. A lot of activities around this major roundabout. It's a major roundabout simply because it gets to branch off to major ways or major highways, that is the Uhuru Highway, as well as major roads as you leave sections of University Way, areas of Globe roundabout, coming through State House Road as you head over to sections of Valley Road there in areas of Ngong Road. So this is why, again, like I mentioned, we'll be focusing on this particular route, that is the State House Road. And again, one of those roads, obviously, where we don't really expect to be seeing heavy kind of traffic on this road, simply because it's only used by private vehicles and motorcycles only. It's not a road to be used by public vehicles. So this is why oftentimes there's barely any kind of heavy traffic on this particular route. And again, also can be used as a very good alternative route for those two road users that I've just mentioned, especially if you're leaving areas of Waiyaki Way, going to sections or areas of Valley Road, Kubingong Road, areas around Upper Hill. This all the time serves as a very good alternative route, simply because, again, around areas of Kenyatta Avenue as you come to the city center, oftentimes heavy kind of traffic. And also, just aside from it being the morning hour, like I mentioned, again, the expressway gets to cut across that particular section or area. And again, also there's a lane that has been closed, which just necessitates that construction process. The other slip road there that can also be used as a very good alternative route, and again, also a slip road that is only used by private vehicles and motorcycles, that is the Nyerere Road there, which again leaves areas of Kenyatta Avenue, Upper Hill as you come to the city center. While there's a bit of traffic is just as you head over to CBD, which is again quite expected, is the morning hours. So obviously on lanes coming to city center, this is how you'd expect to be seeing those lanes looking like, and that is how that particular section is looking like this morning. As you leave areas of Uhuru Highway, sections of University Way, Globe roundabout, Waiyaki Way, coming through University Way, on that particular lane, as you just head over to those areas that I'm mentioning on that particular section, moving at a very swift pace, no traffic at all. So if at all this is the if you're coming to the city center or those areas, this is just the best time for you to be doing that, because right now in that particular section, no traffic at all, moving at a very, very swift pace. That is how it is looking like this morning on areas of State House Road as well as Nyerere, which are those two slip roads that we'll be focusing on this Thursday.
Continue with in the headlines, but in case you are just joining us, karibu tena sana. We appreciate that you have chosen to continue with us here on Good Morning Kenya. I am Jane Mamboy. Remember, we are using the hashtag Good Morning Kenya on Twitter. Our official station handle is at KBC Channel 1. We now start off with the Daily Nation. Very busy today. The main read being Uhuru Brigade endorses Raila. This is something that happened yesterday with the Mount Kenya Foundation coming together to officially declare the support for ODM leaders' candidacy for the presidential race. I'll be giving you details about that. There was a 4-member team that was officially sent to represent the president during this particular meeting. I'll be telling you about that in a bit. On the other hand, we have the story concerning the prices of unga, which are set to rise by the time we are hitting Christmas. Unga prices rise, cost of ugali to go up as maize cartels hold sway. Covered here on the back page of the Daily Nation. On matters of beauty goes green with banana fiber hair extension that are biodegradable. Tutawacha kuvaa mkia ya farasi, tutavaa matawi ya madisi. That is actually something that is happening with one gentleman, Anajita Muturi Kimani, 51-year-old gentleman who is manufacturing carpets, yarns, and hair extensions from banana leaves. Haya. Na ikizeeka unatupa kwa shamba. Okay. The story concerning politicians and fundraising, of course, has found its way here on the front page of the Daily Nation. Ruto rushes to beat a deadline in Harambee. Yesterday, he was in Kisii, and he's said to have toured about He held 6 rallies in 5 constituencies in Kisii County in a last-minute rush to woo residents with financial support, where he did make donations to women, the youth, and border riders over there. And of course, this is in line with the IEBC regulations, today being the last day for such activity to be taking place. However, they are free to continue raising their own monies when it comes to their political journeys as they campaign towards the 2022 general elections. But I will be giving you the details as per what this daily has for us today. And finally, miracle of miners rescued after 6 days. You know, these are things that some of us would say tumeona tu kwa movie, but this is actually something that we have all been seeing on both mainstream and, social media. Prayers kept us going, rescued miners say, after staying trapped for over 150 hours, living in the dark, not knowing the difference between day and night. At 3 a.m. yesterday, close to 7 days, they were finally pulled from the abyss, where the gold mine that they were in caved in on the 2nd of December to around 11 a.m. It has been a long 6-day ordeal and 7-day ordeal actually. And on the 6th day, one of them actually said, we turned to prayer once it clocked the 6th day, and they were surviving on the salty water that was under there. There was a pipe that was being used to communicate with them from the rescuers that were above ground. They would also send down boiled water mixed with glucose to just help them survive, because getting food down there was the biggest challenge that they were experiencing. And the story, one of the guys that was actually rescued yesterday was 21-year-old Ogutu, who had only worked at this mine for 2 weeks after he was told, gold mining can get you some real good money in real good time. So he had actually gone for a funeral, decided not to return home, akaenda to this gold mine, and only 2 weeks later, it caved in with him inside. But his father was always up there waiting for him. More details coming up in a bit. Victor.
7 days surviving under
on salty water. Can you imagine just taking salty water on a regular versus having to take it to survive?
Yeah, if you have got the willpower, then everything is possible. All right. So on the front page of the Star newspaper, revealed DP Ruto's campaign strategy. DP plans to conduct regional forums to discuss development blueprint. That is what's on the front page of the Star. We'll give you details briefly. And still on the front page, how gangs are recruiting and police are killing youth in slums. How gangs are recruiting and police are killing youth in slums. You can take a look at that story as well. It's fleshed that there for you in details. Evidence before JSC illegally obtained, says Justice Chitembwe. High Court judge said that Chitembwe has claimed that a series of video recordings implicating him to corruption cannot be used before JSC, as evidence was illegally obtained. Now, the recordings were released by former Nairobi Governor Mike Sonko. Chitembwe's application is before the High Court. That is as far as that is concerned. And the president said that talk about your problems and stop misusing your guns. That's the message that President Uhuru has to the cops. And he said that serve with courage. President Uhuru Kenyatta has tasked new General Service Unit officers joining the National Police Service to serve the country with courage, integrity and discipline. He was speaking yesterday actually when he presided over the passing out parade of over 2,000 GSU officers. The president said that the servicemen and women should safeguard the rights and freedoms of Kenyans while upholding the law and abiding by rules and regulations. He also said that he also advised the officers to embrace discipline and talk to their seniors whenever they face problems instead of engaging in acts of lawlessness and despair. Actually, he was referring to a case where a police officer, who is also captured here, that is Benson Imbatu, went berserk 2 days ago and killed 6 people in Kabete. And story is still here, where Kabete killer cop's family, remorseful over murders, describe him as caring, calm, joyous, and abhorred disagreements. The family said that Benson Imbatu did not exhibit any signs of suspect behavior. They said that they were horrified by the killings. And now family and friends and neighbors describe him as caring, calm, joyous, and one who abhorred disagreements with those who interacted with him. So on Tuesday, Imbatu killed his wife and 5 strangers, then turned the gun on himself in the car where he was. So that is there. And there's that story again. Jane has just touched 3 more gold miners rescued from the Bondo shaft, and licensed mines are very dangerous, claiming lives in cave-ins. That is also poisonous. The story is also there. I run the risk of repeating the same. And finally, Ruto under fire as Uhuru backyard endorses Raila. The Mount Kenya Foundation met yesterday at Safari Park Hotel, where they endorsed Raila Odinga for the top job. Deputy President William Ruto came under fierce attack from a group of Mount Kenya leaders as elite business men from the region endorsed Raila Odinga, that is ODM boss, for the presidency. At Safari Park Hotel, the Munya said that they will form a technical team to negotiate areas of concern and work with Raila Odinga to realize the dreams of the Mount Kenya region. In his address, Raila said that he would respond to, quote-unquote, many requests by leaders from Mount Kenya on Friday at Kasarani. That is tomorrow. And of course, we also have the picture there of former Nigerian President Olusegun Obasanjo, who is also in the country to attend Raila's big day tomorrow. He was at State House and was received by President Uhuru Kenyatta. All right.
Mrs. O. Okay, let's just begin on that political note, and that is in respect to those the Mount Kenya tycoons. I mean, they just had a lot to say in regards to the deputy president, much as they gave reasons as to why they were backing the former premier. And part of what they said is that we do not feel safe in the hands of individuals with a history of looting public coffers, land grabbing, and perpetuating the displacement of our people. Obviously referring to the deputy president as well. Like I mentioned, so many things that they had to say in regards to the deputy president, and also just saying that they believe the country will be safe in Raila's hands after Uhuru's retirement next year. That is what Mount Kenya region tycoons said as they settled for as they settled on Raila Odinga and choosing to back him come next year's general elections. And then donate in Harambes and face the music. That is what aspirants are being told by IEBC, that donating in Harambes is prohibited and they're not allowed to do that. That is the 2022 contenders who participate in fundraisers from today, that is actually from today midnight, will be locked out of general elections, whether they do that by themselves or they use proxies. Nonetheless, as the IEBC is saying, is that they'll be locked out from general elections there. So that is the latest there from IEBC. And obviously, like we mentioned, I mean, since perhaps on Tuesday, where there have been ongoing investigations concerning the Kabete killer cop, and now the mother has come out to speak, and he describes the son as someone who was amiable, friendly, someone who was not chaotic. And just what is really coming out is that what resulted to those shootings or killings there is as a result of a love triangle. Also, the mother continuing to say that whom people are calling as the wife who was also killed in that particular shootout, the mom says that that was not the wife because she had never met her. So this is why, you know, a lot is being said in regards to this could have been a possible love triangle that resulted to those killings that happened there on Tuesday. And also the state continues to ramp up support when it comes to COVID-19. and they've engaged religious bodies or religious leaders. This is just in a bid to try and ensure that by the end of this year, they need to have vaccinated about 10 million Kenyans, and by end of next year, about 27 million Kenyans. So this is why they're strongly engaging also the religious leaders from different parts of the country to try and see how best they can be able to achieve that target. And obviously, as early this week, they had already vaccinated a total of 7.7 million Kenyans. Still continuing on matters of killings, this happened in Nyakach. That was yesterday, where a man blows himself up as kills a couple. So when we get the details, I'll be telling you more about that. In particular, what is happening in the country when it comes to these killings and shootouts. Troy.
Indeed, and of course I will pick it from where my colleagues have touched on, that is on the Azimio La Umoja by former Premier. The Standard, the headline, Mount Kenya teams yes to Raila and a list of demands. That is where I want us to focus for like a minute or so, because of course after the backing of the former Premier, they're talking about a commitment to the implementation of the constitutional principle of democratic, fair representation, equity on the vote in representation, and equitable resource allocation. That is they're talking about the 1 man, 1 vote, 1 shilling. They also want commitment to increase the devolution fund. They have also called for respect for property rights, facilitate resettlement of people who have been displaced, and a commitment to actualize a post-election violence victims fund. That's just some of the demands by the Mount Kenya Foundation, who endorsed Odinga for the top seat. Still on the front page, rescued miners, just as Doreen has talked about, they have recounted the harrowing experience that they had 6 days in cold, dark earth belly, and they are glad to be out. They're talking about they communicated with the last miner who is still to be rescued and assured him that all was going to be okay. Something also Doreen has touched, killer cop's last words to mother. You do remember Benson Imbatu, who killed 6 people and also took his life. Talking about they had a conversation which lasted for around 2 minutes, and he had not exhibited any signs that he had any mental problems or he was actually having any issues in his life. Well, perhaps to dig a little bit deeper in matters politics, Uhuru's succession. I'm ready to face my rivals at the ballot, says Ruto in his campaigns in Kisii, where he claimed all the top presidential aspirants had held plum jobs in government with nothing to show for it. Of course, they're talking about a deeper coverage of the 3 miners and the experience that they had. And there's something I had seen where some students have been taken, that is in regards to what is currently going on in schools, the unrest. Some students have been charged and caused, but of course they have denied those allegations. And also Judge Chitembwe wants JSC hearing suspended on account that another petition of course has been filed in a case that he handled, but he's talking about how the evidence that the former Nairobi County Governor Mike Sonko talking about that cannot even be verified, just as in the report that we had by Sarafina Robi. And it resonates with the case of the DCJ. If you remember, the court ruled that how the evidence regarding the DCJ, that is Philomena Mwilu, was acquired was illegal, and that stalled that case actually. But of course the DPP did appeal, and we are yet to hear what he has been told. That's just some of what is forming the headlines in the Standard.
All right, let's now get to giving you more details on some of the stories that we have mentioned. And we start off with the Daily Nation, the main read, Uhuru Brigade endorses Raila. Covered here on page 4 of the Daily Nation. So 4 senior officials in President Uhuru Kenyatta's administration attended the Mount Kenya Foundation Forum that was held yesterday, where they formally endorsed former Prime Minister Raila Odinga's presidential bid, giving the strongest hint yet that he is the preferred successor for His Excellency President Uhuru Kenyatta. according to this paper, they went on to establish that Raila Odinga and President Kenyatta's push for a broad-based coalition to secure a majority of elective seats in the 2020 polls is underway and gaining momentum. And those that represented His Excellency were Agriculture CS Peter Munya, including ICT CS Mr. Joe Musheru. We had Professor Margaret Kobia, CS for Public Service and Special Programs, and also Miss Cecily Karaoke, CS for Water and Irrigation, among many others that were sent to represent the president during this particular forum. We also did see Mr. Munya reading a hard-hitting resolution stating why the Mount Kenya Foundation had chosen Mr. Odinga as their preferred candidate to secure the Mount Kenya region interest. And in his opening statements, now you see me, now you don't, but now you see me again. But in his opening statements, he said that contrary to what some people believe, our people care more about the economy than politicians and politics. However, we see politics as an opportunity to address our economic issues, and that is why they went on with, endorsing Mr. Odinga's presidential bid. And on the other hand, this is a story that I believe Victor and Doreen, you've touched on in regards to no more Harambes for poll candidates. And they were key to highlight the deputy president's visit in Kisii that happened yesterday, 5 constituencies where he had 6 rallies, but today marks the last day as per the regulations that were put out by the IEBC, that is December the 9th, the last day when it comes to fundraising by aspirants for the voters. And contrary to, if you do violate this moving forward, number one, you will be considered to you risk being disqualified, because any 8 months towards general elections, you are not allowed to give monetary or any material benefits to the voter, as it may be considered as a way of buying their votes. But as an aspirant, you are free to raise your own funds for your campaigning. So that is that in regards to those 2 major stories that have been featured here on the Daily Nation. Victor.
Oh, yes, yeah. So governors cleared in 2018-2019 audit that is county chiefs found not capable of any wrongdoing, despite a report by the Auditor General, that is Nancy Gathongo. Instead, the County Public Accounts and Investments Committee made general administrative recommendations to the governors and their finance executives to streamline financial operations. So my governors wako sawa and they're clean kama pamba. Okay. The story of Chitembe there is also fleshed out there for you. I run no risk of repeating the same. There's something here. Coast Park hotels fully booked for Christmas and New Year fit. Wakenya tumeteseka for some time, and now numbers are driven by the domestic market, mainly Nairobi residents, hoteliers say. It said that Lamu is at 85%, with occupancy at key tourist hotels expected to hit 100% over the Christmas week and New Year, thanks to the direct flights from Nairobi to Mombasa, that is. It also said that hotels and camps in parks are also recording good business as the festive season nears. In the Mara, said that key facilities are fully booked for Christmas and New Year, with a few vacancies between December 20th to 23rd and December 26th to 29th. So, yeah, I think it's good time for people to go and just unwind. It's been a tough year. Some people say that 2019, 2020 and 2021 ilipita. The government ilisema that the year was lost. So tuliruka from 2019 to jikuta 2022.
And 2022 tarehe 3, back to business.
Yes. So these 2 years were lost. So hata mimi nilivuka huko. There is a story
here. Does that mean we don't count your birthdays in those 2 years?
Yes,
I did. 2 years younger.
Time stood still.
Yeah, I'm 2 years younger still, because those years were lost. 2019, 2020, 2021. Zimpotea, so.
What makes you happy, by the way? Hii maisha.
Yeah. There's a story here. I don't know where these things do happen. Have you seen those posters? Daktari kutoka si mimi.
Tanga.
Hadi kuna wakitui.
So there's a page here, full page of these people. Yes, madaktari. Now we can bring back your husband and wife or finance who left you kimadarau in 24 hours.
Finance or fiance?
Wow.
Finance. Actually, it's fiance. Yes. We can bring back your husband, wife, or fiance who left you kimadarau in 24 hours. Lost. Okay, that's not lost libido.
24 hours.
Kushika. And then there's another one saying that you want to make money at your business, to be promoted at work, place to be loved, and make your love faithful to you only. Do these things really work?
Actually, Vicky, there's a time the government had raised a red flag over these people and had started a crackdown. I don't know what happened and where the efforts, because we still can see those posters each and everywhere we go, and also in the newspapers.
But by virtue of seeing them, that means they're working. That means they're in business.
Yes, of course they have.
Something that
this business, you just call or send a text
Have
message.
you ever walked on the streets and then your eyes meet that poster, then unafeel nika inakuvuta?
I don't see you guys.
I don't know what
and then you decide to call, eh?
No, but no.
Doreen. Umaivutwa. Ama kuna ex anakuita. 24 hours.
Are you eating?
How was it?
But see, yes, Doreen.
They target issues that a good number of Kenyans
Emotive issues.
And most Kenyans face. Relationships, finances, pesa. Na mtu wako mwenye alikuacha na madharau.
Yes.
Those things are things that touch Kenyans mahali. That's why they target those things.
And even just yesterday on the Daily Nation, there was a piece concerning how street beggars are making a killing. In Mombasa, there was one who was actually interviewed, and she said on a bad day she makes around 2K. On a good day, they make up to 10 grand.
Tax-free.
Wow.
Tax-free, just begging on the streets. And I don't know if you guys have ever come across this another kalady anakuanga na kavits. Very elderly. Anaendanga anasimama anakwambia, excuse me, I forgot my wallet at home and I'm running out of fuel. Do you have 100 bob? You help me? Have you guys ever met such a lady on the roads?
Wow.
And you're walking and you're
unatembea yako na kavits kake hapo anakwambia
pesa.
I have met her like 3 times. Until just recently I saw somebody took a video of her on social media. Hadi kuna mwingine hapo hivi tao anakuambia ni aje, kwanza anaongea kizungu ingine safi. Hello, how are you doing? I'm an orphan. I have a small brother at home and we haven't eaten for the last 3 days. Would you guys take us to this supermarket and buy us some groceries?
Oh yes, yes, sure. Come.
You've met that one?
Yes, come. Yeah. What do you want? I need mkate, maziwa tatu.
Enda na yeye huko. Anakuchukulia unga hapo, anachukua hadi zinaitangwa aje, this hot cross buns.
Yes.
It just baffles me that the rate of unemployment in this country has made Kenyans devise ways of making money.
Guys are out here hustling by all means.
Yaani mtu anaongea kizungu safi lakini
kizungu safi.
Okay, I think you can call me mean or something, but you see, there's that value for your money. Economically, if you take 10 shillings or even 5 bob from your pocket and give someone without any service rendered, just know the ripple effect.
Mimi hata nikwambie Victor, saa zingine umama uwe inanisubua.
Mimi na
katoto kamekujia. Kama kufika hapo kwa magoti.
Ngumu.
Kana kutap.
Si mama bado.
Ngumu.
Umama mzigo.
Kwani ajai kwa na hii experience amenyamazaje?
Actually, you see the little ones,
3:34.
Wana clean na koti kabisa. They have been trained. Wana clean na koti kabisa, and you have to give them something.
Hapana.
But let's take a break on that note. Tujifikirie. We'll be back after this quick breather.
because you're rich. When you find yourself separated from your money, you'll learn.
We don't even know him. We were just curious. Please, go ahead. You'll let him stay here with you?
Look at him. What do you think I should do?
Do you know him? So what is this place? I'll say it one more time. I don't want to deal with you, so get lost!
Figure out how to win Jai Jawai's heart and get him to kick Anjing to the curb.
Why are you here?
You betrayed me.
有一段故事建筑一座城堡，回放进去后就不再。
Mark, what do you think you're doing?
Minding my own business because it has got nothing concerning you.
Do you still have an ounce of respect left for me?
What's up?
How often does Lauren show up here?
Relax.
Christina!
What do you want, Mark?
I am just about to open a whole can of worms. And you will not like one bit of it.
Is there anything that I should know?
Just turn around and go back to wherever you
Christina, I just want to talk. Calm down.
Unasemaje?
Kila kitu kiko tayari.
Hakuna liloharibika, labda kwako.
Sitaki ukae peke yako hapo kana upweke.
Sina upweke, na mimba. Na mimba si ugonjwa.
Na huyu Dingo, Badi na Maya wamekukosea wapi?
Welcome back to Good Morning Kenya, and let's have a recap of what we as a newsroom are following up for you. You do remember today is World Anti-Corruption Day. I think that's something that we forgot during the newspaper review, but today's World Anti-Corruption Day is being celebrated in 2 counties here in the country. But as other articles that we are following up for you, there will be a requiem service or requiem mass for the victim of the Enzu River tragedy today at St. Joseph Seminary from 10 a.m. in Mwingi. There's also the Azimio la Umoja Secretariat to address the media in regards to tomorrow's event at Kasarani Stadium ahead of the convention tomorrow. Then there's UASU, KUSU and KUDEHA joint presser at UASU headquarters at 10 a.m. and the launch of the cash transfer program by CS Professor Margaret Kobia will be at Harambe House at 11 a.m. We have those plus much more, which we will be bringing to you in our subsequent bulletin. Do have yourself a blessed day. I'm now tossing the ball back to Doreen, the latest traffic update.
All right, so let's just quickly look at how this road is looking like this morning before we start our conversations this Thursday. Still focusing on University Way roundabout, State House Road. Like I keep saying all the time, is that traffic changes every single minute. Look at how the roundabout is looking like right now. Heavy kind of traffic throughout this entire roundabout. This is not how it looked like when we were looking at the traffic flow during the first link. And again, that's why I said it's one of those busy roundabouts, simply also because it gets to branch off to major roads, major highways, some slip roads here and there, as well as some minor roads just around the same roundabout. As you leave areas of Waiyaki Way, just before you get to Uhuru Highway, given the fact that Uhuru Highway begins from the University Way roundabout and continues up until the Nyayo Stadium roundabout. So just before you get to this particular roundabout, as you leave areas of Westlands, Kangemi, Kikuyu, Kino, as well as the outskirts of Nairobi, counties on the Nyanza, as well as western part of the country, given the fact that they use this particular route, this is how it's looking like this morning. Heavy kind of traffic, and it's quite interesting because it's particular on that stretch, or better still on that lane that is now leaving city center as you head over to the estates, or those areas that I've just mentioned, which is, you know, so highly unlikely because in the morning hour you really don't expect to be seeing heavy kind of traffic on lanes leaving CBD or leaving city center as you head over to the estates, because there's barely any kind of activities on those particular lanes. But this is how this one is looking like. And again, just like I mentioned, and I've kept mentioning, is just because of that expressway. The state is really in a bit to try and ensure they finish up that particular expressway by mid next year. That's around April, May, thereabout, being looked at as one of those roads that is expected to shape how Nairobi will be looking like, and ultimately how East Africa will be looking like. The road begins at Lolongo area. At least some sections of the expressway around that area is already complete, and we've seen also some parts opened up, those that had already been closed, coming through areas around Mombasa Road, cutting through sections of Uhuru Highway along those major roundabouts, trickling down to areas along Waiyaki Way, gets to terminate at James Gishuru Road. In fact, as we speak, there's a section along Kenyatta Avenue which is closed just because of that expressway. There are different other amenities that will also be coming along with that particular expressway, which is being constructed under the form, what we call the public-private partnership. So that is the form that the state is using to construct this particular route. And again, this is why we are seeing this heavy kind of traffic on that area, or on that lane as you head over to the estates there, which again, like I mentioned, it's really unlikely in the morning hour to be seeing gridlock on most lanes that as you head over to the estates. That's how it's looking like this morning on that particular stretch there. It's opening up a bit, but still it's heavy kind of traffic. And again, that's why there's that difference in color from maroon to red, clear indicator of still heavy kind of traffic, only that it's now moving at a very, very slow pace. At least on the other side, as you head over to those sections, they are not really bad. On the other side of State House Road, one of those roads where I really don't expect to be seeing traffic, there's a bit of a gridlock there as you leave the roundabout. In fact, it's not moving, just at a standstill. But again, this is just particular as you leave the roundabout there. As you get to branch off to that road, or that is the State House as well as Nyerere Road there, at least moving at a very swift pace, clearly indicated by the green color all through. And the beauty is that is actually on both lanes. So again, if you're leaving areas of Globe, Thika Road, perhaps coming through University Way, leaving areas of Waiyaki Way, Mombasa Road there, sections of Uhuru Highway, Kenyatta Avenue, if at all you're going, or even your workstation is perhaps areas around Ngong Road, Valley Road, areas of Kenyatta, then you can use the State House Road or Nyerere. And again, particular to those on motorcycles or private vehicles, particular to only those ones, you can use either of these two routes as one of your alternative routes. This is instead of using the entire Uhuru Highway section, getting to branch off to areas of Kenyatta Avenue. So you can clearly use either of those, any of those as the alternative routes, because again, areas of Uhuru Highway there, in between University Way roundabout and Kenyatta Avenue, not looking good at all, particular to that lane that is heading to the city center, or even using the University roundabout as you head over to sections of University Way there. But at least looks like things are opening up just a bit here and there on that particular roundabout as you leave areas of Waiyaki Way. Again, still really not looking good at all. Areas of Kenyatta Avenue roundabout, still the same situation as how the University Way roundabout is looking like. But then again, like I just mentioned, it's one of those busy roundabouts, just like University Way. So what you're seeing also on this particular one is basically what we would be expecting to see. But also, like major roundabouts, I can tell you for sure, traffic police always stationed up early on most of these major roundabouts to try and see how best they can control traffic. Perhaps that's why we are seeing a bit of opening here and there on the other section of Kenyatta Avenue as you leave areas of Kenyatta, Ngumo, sections of Valley Road as well, coming to the city center, areas around Upper Hill, on that particular lane as you leave those areas that I've just mentioned, heading to the CBD. Again, traffic also being witnessed there up until the roundabout. On the other side, though, moving at a very swift pace, no traffic. It's also what we would expect to see. I mean, it's the early morning hour, and like I keep mentioning all the time, on most roads as you head over to the estates, unless there's an activity or something has just happened, you'd barely expect to be seeing any kind of traffic there. Some sections of the Kenyatta Avenue roundabout as you head over to areas of Wabere Street, areas around inside the city center, really not that bad. But then again, remember also, much as we talk about road reconstructions and what has been happening on most of these roads, either being spearheaded by Kura, Kenham, or even NMS, this is one of those areas that got to benefit from the Nairobi Metropolitan Services road work activities when they just began. This is in respect to the non-motorized transport system which was put in place, or which was constructed there, and part of why they made sure they actually construct that was to reduce the traffic. This is the analogy that instead of having pedestrians getting to use the roads which are being used by vehicles, both public and private, then they have designated lanes for vehicles, designated lanes for pedestrians, which is called the pedestrian walkways, and as well as the designated lanes for cyclists, which we call cyclist lanes. So part of why they deemed it fit to actually construct that NMT was just reduced on that traffic flow, and clearly looks like that is serving its purpose very well, because as you leave the Kenyatta Avenue roundabout, getting inside the city center right now, no traffic at all, moving at a very swift pace, and the same is also being witnessed as you leave areas of CBD, still coming through Kenyatta Avenue via the roundabout. They are getting to branch off to Uhuru Highway, as well as sections of Kenyatta Avenue, and also the other side of Uhuru Highway just before you get to the University Way roundabout there. That's what it's looking like this morning in terms of traffic, just trying to keenly focus on what is happening around the University roundabout, sections of Nyerere Road, as well as State House Road. All this in a bid to try and track the progress of the expressway, knowing fully very well that it gets to cut through sections of this road, and also trying to see if at all, as the state mentioned, that by mid next year it needs to be complete, how that is coming along, and also altogether how that is impacting and affecting traffic flow on most of these routes where the expressway gets to cut through.
Well, this is Entertainment Thursday, and I couldn't possibly miss. My name is Stephanie Ayeta, and with me here is an amazing group of riders called the Basabrina Club, who happen to be having an event that the chairman will be talking to us about. So just before we do that, the hashtag is Good Morning Kenya at KBC Channel 1. My personal handle is Stephanie Ayeta. So we have Mr. Chairman here on my left side, who will be telling us about this particular event that's about to go down this Jamhuri Day.
Okay, we are doing an event about on Sunday morning. We'll be doing from Pangani to Upper Hill and Ngong.
Okay.
Yeah. So this event is creating awareness of bikes and keeping fit for people with bicycles. Yeah.
Thank you. We have Dennis there. We have two Dennis, and they'll tell us who they are, what they represent. So the first Dennis.
So thank you so much. My name is Dennis. I'm a representative of Fat Rhinos Travel. We are one of the sponsors of the event. And yeah, so basically the reason why we decided to take part in supporting this event is because the event is apart from health, it also it's creating awareness for peace. And as you know, the tourism industry depends on peace for it to prosper. So yeah, so that's the one of the reasons why we decided to be part of the event.
Okay, thank you. We really do need peace. And Dennis, also introduce yourself.
Okay, my name is Dennis Kimathi. Cycling to me is a lifestyle. It's a career too. Second thing is about cycling in our community, it makes a person to feel more special depending on the environment that you live from. Lango Kubwa, Madare, the activities make you feel at least there's something I'm doing to my community.
Okay.
So to me, it has been a big journey to make this event happen, and for my fellow friends that are like a family to me. So I do appreciate to them.
Okay, so indeed cycling is a lifestyle to you, and you'll give us more details about just how cycling can be a lifestyle and for fun at the same time. We have an amazing group of riders with us here, and I understand there's also another sponsor, since you don't have a mic really, so the chairman will tell us about him.
Okay, Ash Grill is one of our sponsors.
Okay.
He also is a rider, and he also doing some catering, and he's having a hotel. So after riding, sometimes he treats us.
Oh, okay. You need to eat.
Yes, of course. The riding is not an easy thing.
It's a whole lot of exercise.
A lot of exercise.
Okay. So let's get back to Dennis. Why this particular initiative? Why are we doing a campaign for creating peace through riding?
Okay, in one way or the other, riding a bicycle, it makes you reduce depression, because you can't ride a bicycle when you are stressed out.
Okay.
You will concentrate on on riding your bike. Second thing, it involves you to connect both on a traffic rule, since no one has, not everybody can afford a car. We use it at commuting to our work. Is also a side, others uses like a side hustle. Others uses, like me, it's a full commuting.
There's no travel by car.
No.
Wewe na gari hapana mpatani.
Miaka mbili hata ushago ni baiskeli.
So when you commute from here to go to your rural home, like
Kirinyaga County,
you're going with bikes?
Yeah.
Wow, that's interesting. Okay. And Mr. Chairman, maybe you can comment more about mental health and how riding helps that.
Yeah, especially like me, I was very down. You know, people like us, disability is an issue. But for riding myself, I'm very happy, because you can see I'm very fit. This is all for bike. Bike helped me very much. For my life, I always use bike.
So, and I would be curious to ask, how do you ride? Considering people who are differently able, it'll be difficult, but you're saying you ride bikes.
We have special bikes, like a 3-wheel.
Are you okay? Wow.
And 3-cycle.
So that helps you to relieve stress.
Everything. Help me with stress, with keeping fit, with my job. I don't usually use car very much.
So you're also big on riding?
Very much. And I'm very blessed.
So you would encourage young people to try this out?
Yeah, even especially old people who have maybe some issue of sickness. Bike always make some people get fit. It's like a training. It's a gym. It can put you where you want to go. It helps a lot with the body, with sickness. Bike is always keeping fit.
So how much of biking would you recommend for someone who's starting? How many kilometers should you start? We went to do riding, but
if you start with somebody who want to start, you can make it half a day per day. Per day, you make it half a day. So only 30 minutes. And then you proceed, you can come to 1 hour, 2 hours. 2 hours is the best.
2 hours is the best time.
Like me, I always use every time bike. Okay. Maybe in the studio I cannot bring my bike here.
It's only here that you're constrained, but otherwise.
I'm always using my bike. Yeah.
Okay.
And thanks.
And again, back to you, Dennis. So this being a new venture rather, that you have taken, do you see a future, maybe investing more into riders, and that kind of thing?
Yeah, as Fat Rhinos, we are an adventure company, an adventure travel company. So we are looking at starting the biking safaris. We are looking at curating itineraries that are specifically for riders. Just to give you an example, before Corona, we did a trip with some international clients from Cairo all the way to Cape Town. So we are thinking of introducing something like that for even the locals, just to have fun, and like he said, cycling, biking helps to reduce the stress, and it also makes you keep fit.
Okay.
So it's something we're thinking of starting to do trips for the locals, for domestic travel, so that guys can keep fit and have fun.
Okay, that's a great initiative there. And for the other Dennis, the music, tell us about biking as a lifestyle, and also just a bit about Basabrina Club, how you guys started, and before just to get to the details of the main event coming up.
Okay, Basabrina started 2 years ago. All of us were clients, but as for me, I'm a delivery guy, so he's like my dad. Every time my bike gets spoiled, I go to him. So most of the time we used to spend with him. So one day we said, what if we come together and form a group?
Okay.
So that we can cycle for a short distance. Because as for me, I cycle from 6:30 to 8 in the evening. Because mine is my career. Career too. So the rest came, joined, and now we're having fun.
Okay.
Yeah.
So, Mr. Chairman, how many are you in the group? Again, just details about how your family and all that.
Okay, especially when we started because of Corona. Corona was the day after, maybe back 2 years ago. Corona was the hittest thing in Nairobi, in Kenya. So we tried to make people not to worry much, just to get fun for bikes.
Okay.
To ease their mind. Yeah.
Okay.
So that way, that is how we start the Sabrina enterprise. Myself, I'm using to have a workshop, repairing some bikes and also selling some bikes. So mainly these guys, most of them, they are my clients.
Okay.
They are my clients, so they also help me to boost my job and also to make this team work.
Okay. Well, I don't know if I'm blocking our guys over here. I wish you could say your name, maybe, and why you bike, just briefly, so that we also involve you.
Okay. My name is Alfred Manya. I joined Basabrina because actually the workshop is behind my house. So I normally used to see bikes over there. So I went, it was 2019.
Okay.
I bought my first bike over there and then I started cycling.
Okay.
Professionally, I'm a tour guide. So me and Dennis, we are hoping to start a healthy tourism.
Okay, that's wonderful. You?
My name is Meshak Mumo.
Maybe if you can be a little louder.
Yes, my name is Meshak Mumo. I am...
Sorry, let me cut you off because I understand that you won't be able to be heard. But tell me your name and then I'll say it out loud.
My name is Meshak Mumo.
Meshak Mumo there. We have...
Hashim Haruna.
Hashim Haruna there.
Kevin Opio.
Kevin Opio there.
Jacob Momani.
Jacob?
Jacob Momani.
Jacob Momani. Jacob. Okay, your name is difficult, but to get the Momani one, your name there?
Boniface Odhiambo, a.k.a. Jose.
Boniface Odhiambo, a.k.a. Jose, and?
Holyfin Karanja.
Holyfin Karanja. Okay, thank you very much. So back to you, Dennis. Tell us about this main event, how it's going to go down, if someone wants to join in. Yeah, details about it.
Okay, as the main event, we have our number to pay through M-Pesa. Okay, the fee is not about is for supporting what we have. Like the entry where we are going to Ngong Hills.
Okay.
So there will be a fee to pay. Then the rest will cater for the food for us. It's just going for having fun. So the route, I will be the man on the road, leading the group. So the event will start at Moratina Street, that is in Isili. We will be using Juja Road, Ring Road, Haile Selassie, then Uhuru Highway, Langata Road, Southern Bypass, Ngong Road, and there will be.
How much is the charges?
Charges is 500 only.
So, okay, we have it there. Join the Creating Awareness for Peace with Sabrina this Sunday, Jamhuri Day, from 9 a.m. at Muratina Road, that is Isili, and be part of this amazing initiative. That's it from this segment here, this amazing team of riders. We'll be back taking just a short breather, and we have some amazing stuff for you. So keep it locked. See you on the other side of the break.
Yeah, thank you. Thank you for it.
What are you doing? Are you trying to make a fool out of me?
Why are you here?
And listen, you.
I want to lose you.
You already lost me the day that you remarried Victoriano.
Organize your affairs elsewhere without affecting my daughter.
It is your daughter who is destroying my family. You better do as I say, Sabina. Please stop this. Sabina!
Listen to me. Get in the car now, please. There's a problem.
What do you mean he's been shot?
What?
The Amazons.
Development follows roads. Whenever a road is opened, the economic activities are always part.
Tumefurahia sana kwa president wetu juu ametutengenezea hii barabara. Hata mashamba yetu sasa itakuwa na value, na hiyo tumeshukuru sana.
Sisi ndio tuna build the country. The future is in our hands.
Yote haya kwenye KBC Channel 1 Ijumaa saa 2:30 usiku.
My name is Sambros Rutulai and I'm all day for you.
One of Africa's most elusive cats, the leopards.
So many scientists, they are focusing in other animals. They are focusing in other cats. They are focusing in other, species, and they are forgetting leopard.
This is an area that the leopard clearly comes to. It's a natural salt lick. We've seen the leopard's footprints. We've also seen footprints of other animals, including baboons and impalas, and these are some of their favorite prey.
One mzee told me that there is a black leopard that is just found in your area. Few months, we got the black leopard in our camera traps.
day begins at the Kenya Forest Service headquarters in the Karura Forest. A briefing on the day's program by the service's Chief Conservator Julius Kamau before we embark on the journey. Our destination, the Embobut Forest Reserve. This jungle boasts over 21,000 hectares of forest land and is a vital water tower for communities living upstream and downstream. Kenya Forest Service has made steady and successful efforts in reclaiming chunks of land here from illegal settlers and armed cattle rustlers using this as a hideout. Despite this, the forest still faces a risk of reinvasion. This has prompted action from the service. One of the key moves made by the service is the establishment of 2 community forest associations, a first of its kind in this area.
We also require to engage with the forest adjacent communities. And in this case, we are able to send our team from the headquarters, working together with the team at the Conservancy and the ecosystem, to also create awareness among the forest adjacent communities in a way of helping them to form a CFA, a community forest association, that we can be able to engage with and who we can give legitimate access right into the forest, so that they are also able to benefit from grazing, from water resources, and from other activities.
Thanks to the cooperation from both levels of government, an access road is also being constructed to ease entry and movement into the forest for rangers stationed at the Kapiego and Chisoi forest stations.
I also came to see the status of that road because it will also provide a very, very good environment for us to patrol and support management and any other activity we want to do in the forest. And I'm happy the fight has gone, and perhaps in the next 1 or 2 months we should be able to have completed that road.
During the meeting with Elgeyo Marakwet Governor Alex Tulkos, the Chief Conservator of Forest was assured of the county government support in complementing the service's efforts.
We are working closely with the KFS to ensure that we look into it, that we conserve our forests. We've developed a bill and policy to ensure that we do conservation in our community and also our farmlands. I want to urge also the other leaders, especially at this time when we are moving towards an election period. Let's avoid utterances that maybe will bring conflict between the government or the KFS and the communities, because this is an issue which is very sensitive, and as leaders we must be responsible.
Sentiments echoed by the County Commissioner Dr. Ahmed Umar, who said no stone will be left unturned in seeing to it that the forest reserve will be protected.
We are committed towards ensuring that we preserve the integrity of our forest blocks in Elgeyo Marakwet, including the Embobut forest. And we will use all means possible, both legal and in form of operation, to ensure that no land within Embobut and other forest blocks are encroached and currently being degraded.
The Chief Conservator says the service will remain steadfast in its resolve to jealously guard the vast canopy of green cover from those looking to illegally benefit from it.
Even when the people themselves do not consider that and actually are taking actions that may be detrimental to themselves, we as a government must tell them to stop, so that we are able to work together and secure the lives of this current generation and also for the future generation.
The multi-agency approach with support from both the national and the county government will not only help the service protect this water tower, but in the long run see it grow more trees to appreciate and also reach the targeted forest cover. Yusufar reporting for Prime Edition from the Embobut Forest, Elgeyo Marakwet County.
Welcome back to the program. This is still Good Morning Kenya. I'm Doreen Arange Okelo, and if you're just joining us, you're right in time for our second conversation this Thursday morning. It's all about lights, cameras, and action. I'm talking about Kalasha Awards happening this Friday. That is on the 10th of this month at the Safari Park Hotel, the 11th edition of the Kalasha International TV and Film Award System. And Mr. CEO is in studio with us this morning. Talk to us about this event government and altogether the film industry and the growth of this particular industry thereof. That is Timothy Owase, CEO, Kenya Film Commission. Good morning, sir.
Good morning, Doreen.
Welcome to the program.
Thank you very much for hosting me.
Good. Now, let's just start from a bit of basics, because a good number of creatives may not really understand the difference between KFC, KFCB, and how these two different bodies are mandated to help the film industry grow. Maybe you could just break down for us a bit.
Thank you very much for that question. Kenya Film Commission is a state corporation established to develop, promote, and market Kenya's film industry. So we have a responsibility to nurture talent, promote the local film industry through capacity development, attract investment into the country, and market Kenya's filming facilities, for example, locations, the skills that we have, and facilities like studios and so on. Kenya Film Classification Board is our sister agency that is mandated to classify films. Basically, without Kenya Film Commission, the Kenya Film Classification Board doesn't have a role to play, because their role emanates from what we do. The more productions that come out of the industry, Classification Board ensures that the audiences are informed as to what product is good for who to watch. Rating between, for example, PG, 13, 18, and so on, parental control aspects. That's what KFCB does. So the difference is like black and white. Yes.
It's just out there.
Yes, it is.
All right. We'll get into the film industry as we continue with this conversation. Perhaps we can just begin by touching on Kalasha, since it's happening tomorrow.
Yes.
And let's talk about the consistency of this award system. I mean, I believe that this has been the longest award system in this country, 11 years, since 2009. This is the 11th edition of this kind of award system.
Indeed.
What has been the consistency of it? What has resulted in this particular consistency?
Thank you very much for that. The Kalasha Awards has been in place for the past 10 years, and tomorrow we'll be marking the 11th edition of Kalasha Awards.
Sure.
The consistency emanates from the fact that there has been consistent production of local content, and this is to show that the industry is actually growing. There are many stories in this country that are being told every day, and I want to thank the producers in this country and the artists in general, because without them, then we will not have Kalasha. Kenya Film Commission's mandate is to see to it that we have products that are emanating from the industry, and that we are able to have products that are of commercial and entertainment value. Out of that, we are able to celebrate these artists, from script writers all the way to sound designers, producers, and so on. So tomorrow, it will be going down in Kasarani, not Kasarani, but Safari Park, where we'll be celebrating about 32 different winners in different categories. We have 3 categories as far as this particular event is concerned. We have special awards, we have the television awards, and we have the film awards. Yes.
Right. So actually just read my mind on the next question about those 32 categories. How do you come up with these categories, and then how do people get to participate, or even get to render their submissions, or even make entries?
Yes, to host an event like Kalasha Awards, it's a process.
Yeah.
We send out a call for submissions. After submissions have been received by the commission, we have a jury that we select. This year we had 7 members who are members from the industry. And their role is actually to identify films that will be nominated for public voting, as well as for the jury decision as far as the winners are concerned. Of course, out of this, we communicate to the public for public voting. They vote and give us specific winners whom we will now unveil tomorrow during the awards.
All right.
Yes.
Speaking of the jury, let's stick there a bit.
Yes.
A good number of nominees that I've spoken to, some of them bring that complaint that, because I fully understand that the jury is mandated to at least give 70% in terms of who gets to bag the award system. The public gets to decide on a basis of 30%. Yet a good number of content creators will say it is the public that get to consume our content. Why do they get us, if I can say, a smaller percentage, going by what a good number of them would say in terms of who decides who bags the award system?
For me, this is an opportunity, and I want to throw it back to the industry, that we have an opportunity for investors to actually come up with cinema theaters in counties, so that we are able to have the entire populace in the country to access these films. The main reason as to why we chose to have jury to have the 70% component, it's because not everyone will have an opportunity to access these films. And that's why even screening these films online through the Kenya Film Commission platforms is not enough. And that's why we chose to have the jury to have 70% and the public to have the 30% voting rights. This year, I also want to confirm that we had 17,000 public participants on the voting, which is not a small number. Yes.
So it means that actually the industry is growing year
that is
in,
it.
year
that
out.
Is it. Yes.
All right. Looking at this Kalasha Awards, as opposed to just it being an event, what is the importance of this award system to the industry?
The main objective of the commission hosting Kalasha Awards is because every year many stories are being developed and told. At the end of the year, the commission wants to actually appreciate what is it that has been done and how was it done. We also take this opportunity to assess what are the weak points that we need to address in the industry. For example, in terms of quality, do we need to address sound issues, camera work, storytelling in terms of script writing, acting? Through Kalasha, we are able to tell and design programs that will form our activities for the following year. So it is a very important program for us because we also want to celebrate winners in the industry. If you've done well, we have to celebrate with you, and that's why Kalasha is there. Yes.
So it also serves more as a motivating factor to content creators.
It's an incentive for content creators to continue doing what they are doing and to even do it better. Because we would like to compete with other jurisdictions and have our content traverse the rest of the world. Yes.
All right. Let's come to film production and the film industry as a whole. Now that you talked about competing, where we are as a country so far, do you feel like we can be able to compete with the outside market? And perhaps what puts us on that edge where we stand?
I will start by just referring you back to Kalasha. This year alone, we had 706 entries despite the COVID-19 pandemic. That in itself, that number is not a small number of film products. We are able to compete to the global scale. All we need is to continue improving on quality and also telling stories that our specific audiences are looking for. As a producer, when you come up with a product, you need to identify through research what your audiences are actually looking for. So when you produce content that has a ready market, you will always get it to the market and it will be appreciated. So your question is about whether we are at a space where we can be able to compete with the rest of the world.
Yes.
We may not be there 100%, but we are in progress. We are progressing towards that. The government of Kenya is deliberately putting a framework that will be able to help us get to that scale through policies that will address issues of funding the industry, film incentives, infrastructural development, and even investing into the sector. Yes.
All right. So then that means as a country that we do not lack creativity and ideas, because also a good number of content creators would always allude to the fact that the major problem is funding, policies, incentives, finances, enabling environments.
That's why the government deliberately put Kenya Film Commission in place. Today, we facilitate the industry in various ways. If you want to do production, let's say in a given county, you come to the commission and we'll be able to facilitate you through our liaison services. We have even taken this service to the e-citizen. You can be able to get our services there, which means we support the industry in every way that is required. The film incentives, of course, we may not have them at the moment, but the government is working on that. The film policy, the film bill, they are going to address all these issues. The film fund, you mentioned funding to the industry is also an issue. As much as that is an issue, remember film is business. You cannot rely on government 100% for funding. The only thing the government can be able to do through the commission is to create an enabling environment. What are the mechanisms for the industry to access financing? For example, bringing on board private sector to support our works or the works of the industry, so that filmmakers are able to access loans from banks like any other commercial enterprise. Besides that, we have established what we call the Film Empowerment Program. This is a program that is out to support productions. From 2019, we have so far disbursed about 54 million shillings. And this year, in the next 1 or 2 days, we are going to announce the third cycle, which means that the public, those who are practicing in this space, are free to apply to be funded to produce their films. Just 1 week or 3 days ago, we were able to premiere a film that was funded 3/4 of funding from Kenya Film Commission, this empowerment program. And I will encourage you and challenge yourself and others to go and watch these local films. The film I'm referring to is Medicine Man, and it's currently running on our local cinemas. That is Anchor Cinema here in Nairobi. Of course, we also supported a film called Bangrang, which is premiering here in Nairobi on the 12th. Of course, when we have this kind of productions coming out of our producers, supported by government, I think this is all we are looking for, and we just call upon the public to continue supporting the local content by buying tickets to watch these films.
Yeah.
Yes.
And don't always be asking for complimentary tickets because they're your friend. Just be buying those tickets.
That is it. Because, as I said, film storytelling is business. And for us to sustain this business, we have to support the entire value chain from scripting all the way to distribution. Yes.
Let's stick on that business aspect a bit, because I tend to feel or think that this is one of the things that a good number of creatives lose. Why I say that is because most of them will dwell on the fact that I'm a talented film producer, I'm a talented content creator, I know I can script well. But where do they miss it on that business aspect? Is it lack of proper training, lack of capacity building? What exactly is it?
I don't think it's because of lack of training. It's just that we need, as creatives, to understand our space and also operate in collaboration. You cannot be an actor, be a producer, and a businessman at the same time. I think we need to specialize and do what is basic to us. If I know that I'm weak in the business component, why can't I outsource that service to somebody else to actually champion my IP rights? And also to champion the element of business within the production line, so that I focus mainly on my being an artist. We have agents who support the creatives. I think it's also incumbent the creatives that we look at what is the role of our guilds, our associations. How are they supporting what we are, our efforts? And me as a creative, am I able to work with others to achieve my goals? Without collaborative effort, I believe that is a challenge, which I will not associate it to lack of training, because if it comes to capacity building, the Commission is permanently doing what we call master classes in all aspects, from writing all the way to distribution. And we do this because this is a fast-moving industry in terms of technology. So many things are evolving, so we have to keep up with the times. Yes.
So it just means that it's understanding where your strengths are and focus on your strength.
That is critical, because you can't do everything.
Exactly.
Yeah. If you are good at acting, why can't somebody else facilitate you in terms of your business element? Yes.
All right. Makes a lot of sense. You talked about IP, the intellectual property. What is the Commission doing to shield content creators when it comes to intellectual property? Because again, that is also another big challenge. A good number of them will say, I'm scared to sell my idea, because what if someone takes it, tweaks it, and makes it their own?
You know, self-awareness is something very important to each one of us. And in business, especially in the creative sector, IP rights are fundamental. The moment you lose your IP rights, then you cannot be able to create any wealth or earn anything from this.
Sure.
The Commission, working with other related agencies like Kenya Copyright Board, we are championing the component of copyright, and there are mechanisms on how you can be able to safeguard your rights in your either script or your production. At any given time, when you are coming up with a script or a story, you need to copyright it. You need to go to Kenya Copyright Board website. The process is very simple. It's online. You don't have to actually spend a lot of time walking to their offices. Of course, if need be, it's a public office. You can walk in anytime. And you feel that it's a challenge, you can walk to Kenya Film Commission or speak to us online, so that we're able to help you on how you can be able to copyright your products. Copyright, intellectual property rights are critical. And I champion the same because without it, you cannot be able to earn anything in your works. Yes.
So it means that creatives need not to get scared of their ideas to be taken away. There's just a laid procedure.
You know, when you get scared, then you will never make any change. You will never be able to make any movie or film. So if you have an idea, go ahead and bring it out, but copyright it. Just do the very basics of coming up with a product. Yes.
All right. See, since we're trying to track the progress of the film industry, initially since its inception in 2005, it was under the Ministry of Sports and Culture up until 2019 when it moved to the Ministry of ICT and Innovation.
Yes.
Why was there the need to move it to a different ministry, and what has been the impact when you track the growth process thereof since it moved?
You know, when it comes to government organization, that is left to the executive. And the executive found it necessary to have the film industry under the Ministry of ICT, of which I support for the following reasons. One, this is a highly technological driven industry. There is a lot of innovation in this sector. And also, the Ministry of ICT deals with the youth. Many youths are involved into this particular sector. So from the year 2019, I think we are in a good home. We can't be able to complain that we shouldn't be in the ICT ministry because we are getting the necessary support that we require as an industry. Yes.
So clearly the shift was timely necessary in 2019 when that happened.
I'm not saying that I was being mistreated in the other home, but I'm just saying that government did the reorganization, and the reorganization was good for us.
And sometimes change is necessary anyway.
That's correct.
If growth has to take place.
I agree.
All right, let's come to another missing link, which again, I think it's something really happening. Much as we talk about the 60-40% content, let's look at media houses, which is supposed to be broadcasters. Right now, as we speak, media houses are producing their own local content. Where does this leave producers and film makers?
In 2013, Parliament passed a law. We call it Kenya Information Communication Act of 2013. Within this act, there is a component of 40 to 60% local content, which is being enforced by the Communications Authority. And of course, all free-to-air broadcasters are expected to adhere to that provision. But the challenge I've always had is that broadcasters do produce content in-house and count that as part of local content. But from where we stand as Kenya Film Commission, my rallying call is that can broadcasters take their space of broadcasting and buy content from our producers? Because when we have producers coming up with the content and broadcasters being buyers, then the forces of demand and supply should be able to dictate how content is consumed and how we get content from the market, and how you, as a broadcaster, you get content to broadcast to your specific audiences. So the issue here is about enforcement. How do we enforce the content quota system as set out by government? Yes.
Okay. So then it means, just from what you're saying, that broadcasters need to stick to their role of broadcasting.
Yeah, they should. Of course, we are not saying that they should not be able to produce content, but they should produce 5% of their broadcast. They can't be producing 100% of local content. If they do that, then I won't be creating jobs for my producers. What's the role of my producers if broadcasters are actually the ones doing their own production and broadcasting at the same time? We need the forces of demand and supply to be enforced so that you are buying content from my producers and my producers are selling you content. If there is an issue of quality, that's why Kalasha is there to help up the game in terms of high quality content. And now the Commission has gone further to introduce the empowerment program, which is facilitating the industry in terms of funding so that we get high quality products that broadcasters can be able to buy. Yes.
So then how can producers get to be linked with this, media houses? Because then again, media houses can also say that we don't get in touch with this producer, so this is why we deem it fit to produce our own content as media houses or as broadcasters.
The Commission is doing that. It's playing the role of linking media houses to producers. We have various forums where we ensure that content that is available in the market is actually accessible by the media houses. All we are saying, pay the right amount so that the producer is able to go back and do another production. Yes.
Pay the right amount.
Yes.
That is also another thing we can maybe perhaps look into.
Correct.
Is that question of payment when it comes to content creation,
Yes.
when it comes to filmmaking, and a good number of them will tell you it doesn't pay. It's not really quite worth it.
I differ with that position.
Analogy, okay.
Because film, like any other business, is real serious business. And when it comes to the products that emanate from this particular industry, you cannot be able to compare it to any other. Film production employs almost everyone. We have pastors in film production, we have doctors, we have lawyers, we have engineers, and so on. All we need is, if producers are being paid the right amounts, then the practitioners within the value chain will also be paid the right amounts. So we just need to cooperate and ensure that we are doing the right stuff as far as our roles are concerned. If you have a writer who is able to earn X amount based on the rate that has been put in place, for example, by a given guild, writers guild, why not comply with that? The issue I think we have is that today you want to do a production, and because the market is free, and given that there are issues to do with joblessness, you find one actor is seeking for 2,000 shillings to be paid to him or her per day, while there is somebody else who is seeking for 10,000 shillings or 20,000 shillings. So the producer will go for the cheapest as long as he or she is able to achieve the same objective. But if we have a red card that we are able to comply with, then that will stabilize the market. Yes.
Actually, that's where I was coming in, just trying to understand where exactly is the missing link, especially when it comes to that payment issue. Because when you look at a good number, especially of actors, most of them, this is like a side hustle. Yet when we sit with you, you actually make us understand that film is very important. It is just a job like any other job.
I discourage anyone who is actually in this industry and considering it as a side hustle. It should be a full-time job at any given time, because within this industry we are able to drive and contribute immensely to our economy. So all we need is to continue championing our art and applying all the mechanisms that are necessary to just see to it that we achieve what we want, because we would like to export our products from the industry. How do we export if we are not appreciating that this is a real industry and it's really business for each one of us to execute?
All right. So it needs to start with appreciating, and this is actually goes on both sides.
That is it. And again, to emphasize on the same, Kenya Film Commission is there to facilitate any filmmaker in this industry with the right information in terms of guidance, be it on IP, copyright, script writing, production, and liaison services. If you want to access any government facility, specific locations, the Commission is there to offer that service at no cost at all.
So it means facilitation goes all board, because anytime we talk about facilitation, we always think funding. What will the state give me? Will they provide locations for me? Will they make those locations cheaper or easily accessible? Because then again, also that crops up all the time as a challenge for most film creators.
Facilitation goes beyond funding. Funding is just one component. Remember, anytime a film producer wants to come up with a product, there is pre-production, there is production, and there is post-production. So throughout that value chain, the aspects that you may require government intervention. For us, we are there to offer you that liaison service at no cost wherever you need. For example, you want to go and film at the protected areas like the wildlife parks and so on. The Commission is there to facilitate you to access such facilities through our liaison with our other state agencies. Other than that, we undertake various capacity development programs. We have also come up with what we call film hubs in counties. These film hubs are facilities for production that actually have been availed for all filmmakers to access, so that they can be able to tell their stories without having to worry about the cost implication as far as production is concerned.
Is this also why the film market, which always comes up on March, exists, just to create more awareness and make film and content creators be aware of most of these opportunities and platforms available? Because again, even when we talk about enabling environments, just like you mentioned, we can't just dwell and stay on the issue of financing and funding all the time. There's a lot that goes into even enabling environments when it comes to platforms available for them to learn, become self-aware, to know what exactly exists for them to use.
As I mentioned earlier, the market today in the screen industry is a very diverse market.
Sure.
Content is being consumed through different technological tools, other than in addition to the traditional mode of content consumption. So for us, we are opening up space so that Kenyan content can actually traverse the world. And Kalasha International Film and TV Market is one of those platforms where we open up the world to come here and access and network with our local content producers. There is a component of buyer and seller interaction. That market provides that avenue so that we can be able to have our content going to the international market. We know there are so many VODs that are now in place, and they are all looking for content, authentic content. We have so many stories in Kenya from west to east, south to west, that have not been told. And if they are told well, they'll find their space in the international stage. So we are championing that, and mine is just to encourage filmmakers that let us cooperate, champion this space, and see to it that we have content that will be able to traverse this world and create wealth for our people. Because when you look at the benefits that emanate from this industry, you cannot be able to compare them to any other. Cohesion and integration is big in this film industry because film doesn't have any tribe. You can watch any content in whichever language with subtitling. The opportunities in gaming, animation, documentaries, and so on. All these are products that emanate from this industry. And the world is looking for this kind of stories that are so unique, and those that are African. Just by virtue of we being Africans, we have the space to feed Africa as a whole and also feed the world as far as content demand is concerned. Yes.
It's one thing to talk about content creation and what film producers need to be doing, or even content creators as a whole. And I feel it's a different story to talk about the culture of watching this film. From where you sit, what do you think we need to do even as a country? Because again, even when you look at theaters, the way we were just saying earlier, we have a good number of people who would say, give me complimentary tickets. What is the need of me going to Kenya.II or Oshuol or Allianz to go and watch a theater play or go watch a film? YouTube.
You know, it's a culture frame that we need to deal with. Today, we just need, the way Kenyans are watching more local content on the free-to-air channels.
Yes.
It's an aspect of us being able to set up facilities where recreational facilities that can be able to enable Kenyans from wherever they are to access this content. Earlier, you were asking about why 30-70 in terms of ratio on voting. And I said it's because these facilities in counties are not available. So my rallying call to county governments and also the private sector that invest in this sector so that we have screening facilities within the counties so that the populace in these spaces can be able to access these particular movies that are being produced locally. At the Commission, we have a program called Audience Development. This is a program that is geared towards rallying Kenyans to go to the cinema or to watch local content, be it on their mobile phones, on TV, or even just walking into a cinema hall. That way, we'll be promoting our local content. And of course, not just to go in to watch, you pay for it, so that there is real monetization of local content. Yes.
Why do you think we as Kenyans do not really appreciate watching film, and we just feel I can always get it for free? I mean, I can download it if I want to.
I think Kenyans appreciate film.
They do?
It's just that these films have not been availed. The facilities to enable them access this content has been the issue. But now with the digital space, it's very easy to access local content. And it's now a challenge to a positive challenge to the content creators to identify where to find their audiences. Yes.
Okay, fair enough.
Yes.
What is the place of research when it comes to content creation? Why I ask that is because when you speak or when you just sit down with especially good number of people in the arts, there's always that mindset of I'm talented.
Yes.
Why do I need to do extra?
Great. Research is critical in all our life sphere.
Yes.
And I am saying this because at a national level, research information is critical to decision makers. And at a content creators level, research is important because for you to tell a story, you need to identify whom are you telling that story to. So whoever says that they are wired to only create content, they also need to recognize the fact that identify your audiences before you create or you tell a story to them. Otherwise, they will never buy your story. So research is part and parcel of your content creation process. And that's why I encourage any businessman in the film industry that research should be first and foremost before they embark on any kind of production. You can imagine producing content which does not have any following. How will you be able to monetize it? And the challenge here being, you are facing that challenge because you never did what? You never researched to get to know whom you are telling this story to have a critical mass that will be able to make a following and so on. But at a government level, research is also appreciated as a critical component of our operations. Today we are working with the Kenya National Bureau of Statistics because we need to have what we call film industry satellite account, which means there is collection of data each and every day of our operation so that we can be able to tell how much are we contributing to the exchequer. For example, how many women are operating in the film industry and what role are they playing? How many graduates are coming out of university to join the film industry? How many local films were produced in a given year? How many foreign productions are done on location in Kenya? All this will be clear if we have them on paper emanating from research. So research is critical, both at a government level and at an individual business person level in the film industry.
Good enough.
Yes.
What is the place of that audience segmentation, especially when it comes to content creators? Because just like you alluded to a bit when you're talking about that research part, is that's also one of the things that gets to miss. Because I mean, if you don't know your audience, then what film are you creating? You are creating the film for who?
You know, from research, you will get to know which niche you are actually addressing. Remember, through the Kika Act, we have a challenge on having enough children's content in this country. That's a gap that has not been filled. It's an opportunity for producers to actually focus and produce more children content because the demand is very high. I believe even your station is looking for children's content that is geared towards our own stories. If you got that, then you'll be home and dry because you'll be satisfying the need of the market today and other stations as well. So doing research and segmenting the market, it's upon the individual film producer to determine whom are you addressing. Are you addressing the mature population or are you addressing the children's content and others?
Clearly, research is very necessary and important. Finally, as we bring the conversation to a close, let's just finish up with that Kalasha Awards again.
Yes.
What is going to be different with this 11th edition Kalasha Awards happening at the Safari Park Hotel as opposed to the previous one and even the others that came before this one?
No, the 11th edition of Kalasha is going down tomorrow.
Yes.
And you should expect surprises in terms of winners. Of course, there will be entertainment. The event will be live on our social media tools and on TV as well. So for those who won't be able to make it to Safari Park, you have an opportunity to follow this event live on our YouTube channel. So be part of the celebration so that we appreciate our winners and also support the film industry as we get into the market. Kalasha this year will be different because we have more unique stories that will be celebrated tomorrow. And again, at the event, we'll have big names from other countries that are coming in to celebrate with us. So watch out for that space. Yes.
I like what you say, that expect new faces of winners, because again, that's also one thing that always comes up, is like a cycle. But now when you say expect new faces, clearly there's a lot to expect.
What I'm trying to say is that we have new entrants into the film industry and the competition is very high. And this year's Kalasha is not different in the sense that the competition was very high. We'll have winners emanating from all aspects.
From all aspects.
Yes.
All right. Fair enough. Thank you so much, Mr. CEO, for talking to us, at least making us understand how far we've come as a country, even from just the state's perspective and what the state is doing to try and help filmmakers and content creators as a whole.
Yeah, let us support filmmaking in the country because this is big business and it's going to make a change as far as our economic and social being is concerned.
Yeah.
Being in this space, the best we can do is to continue championing it, and also to appreciate that film is not just all about entertainment, but it's all about our economic and social being. Yes.
And film is not a side hustle, side business. It's a main business like any other business.
It's your main business, not your side hustle.
Not your side hustle.
Side hustle is something else. Yes.
All right, fair enough. Okay, so we've been speaking to Kenya Film Commission CEO, that is Timothy Owase, talking to us about Kalasha Awards happening tomorrow at the Safari Park Hotel. That is the 11th edition, as well as the growth of the film industry in this country and what the state is doing to help film and content creators, and also what content creators need to do to at least continue upping their game for the purpose of production of film and content creation as a whole. This is where we bring this conversation to a close, but Good Morning Kenya is not yet done. We still have plenty more. After this break, stay with us.
You're arrogant because you're rich. When you find yourself separated from your money, you'll learn.
We don't even know him. We were just curious. Please, go ahead. You'll let him stay here with you?
Look at him. What do you think I should do?
Do you know him? So what is this place? I'll say it one more time. I don't want to deal with you, so get lost.
Figure out how to win Jai Jawai's heart and get him to kick Anchingwan to the curb.
You betrayed me.
有一段故事建筑一座城堡，回放进去后就不再打。
Tanguliza kwa kauli kullukum ra'in wa kullukum mas'ul an ra'iyatihi, yani kila mmoja ni mchunga na kila mmoja ataulizwa kuhusiana na kile ambacho amekichunga.
Tutaleaje watoto wetu? Je, tuwalea vipi watoto wetu? Je, watoto wetu wana maadili, ama je watoto wetu wana adabu, ama watoto wetu wana tarbia nzuri?
Development follows roads. Whenever a road is opened, the economic activities are always part.
Tumefurahia sana kwa president wetu juu ametutengenezea hii barabara. Hata mashamba yetu sasa itakuwa na value, na hiyo tumeshukuru sana.
Sisi ndio tuna build the country. The future is in our hands.
Yote haya kwenye KBC Channel 1 Ijumaa saa 2:30 usiku.
nzima kuna manzika Nairobi
Machali leo hamtalala. Machali leo hamtalala.
Kaini manzi wa Nairobi amkwanze katika.
Machali leo hamtalala.
Kaini manzi wa Nairobi amkwanze katika. Kaini manzi wa Nairobi amkwanze katika. Piga nduru, sikike kwetu Afrika. Zima nchi zote lazima kelele itafika. Dunia nzima kuna manzika wa Nairobi. Amengarango safi kidanja na amezitoa tope. Kila siku na mwana tawaki tembea na maringo. Ajo ukipita lazima utapindwa hiyo shingo. Kwa akili nafikiria tafunguaje hizo vifungo. Hiyo jinsi imemkaza itankazi ya kufika huko. Wazo nimeshindwa kusema jina yangu no nini. Sabu nimeona mwingine amengara limini na nini. Cheki bila tetemekanika nimekunywa changa. Ndio zile vitu nimeona jana usiku tu utashangaa. Jokali na kwamba itabidi tumeanza kuchanga. Kauna bino hizo utaanza kutanga. Cheki ule kaka. Cheki ule kika. Ningekuwa judge Miss Universe ingekuwa kawaida. Manzi wote wa Nairobi wangeshinda bila shida.
Machali leo hamtalala.
Kaini manzi wa Nairobi amkwanze katika.
Machali leo hamtalala.
Kaini manzi wa Nairobi amkwanze katika.
Machali leo hamtalala.
Kaini manzi wa Nairobi amkwanze katika.
Machali leo hamtalala.
Kaini manzi wa Nairobi amkwanze katika. Hamnioni Nairobi tena nikienda kucheki movie ya manzi mpoa Javai ni ndani ya jacuzzi. Ataka ni Julia Roberts. Nataka Nairobi yule anaogaga na hiyo Roberts. Msapere size yake ameshisha kiplani. Usoni mwa Terere anaweza kumalizia ganji. Hakuona kwa kichwa yake ameketia za safini. Na kawaida kwa mfuko anaingiza profit ya 50. Usichukue manzi yote ule mjui. Kama utiko sana na wale huko Kitui. Lakini watu sema wanataki ya hiyo mimi sijui. Wale ni kupelekwa mbio ama utawika. Na naongea from experience ya cha moja juzi. Mluya kumunduyo manzi ameshona bana. Hizo mguu zake jo amestunya sana. Wacha ikaekani huyo mimi na wika pana. Sasa unaongea huyo ndio mambo yote. Nyuma ukimcheki manze ambeba zote. Nikisimama naye tunatoshana. Tukipoa down ni mrefu tena sana. Nashindwa nikipata hizo mzigo.
Welcome back. This is Good Morning Kenya. My name is Stephanie Yata and the hashtag is Good Morning Kenya at KBC Channel 1. My personal handle is Stephanie Ayeta. Today we are talking about art. It's all art in here. Just from speaking, Doreen speaking with the KFCC, or we turn tables just a bit to a different kind of art. We are talking about the visual art and also graphic designing. And we have none other than Ramadan in studio to tell us just more about this type of art, to get to an understanding of it. Ramadan, karibu sana.
Yeah, thank you so much. Yes, my name is Ramadan Juguna, coming from Dagoretti.
Okay.
And I really appreciate to be here. And I started my art 11 years ago in the field of art, and 4 years in the field of design.
Okay.
When you talk about art, it's all about creativity. That you put on.
Yeah, I want you to talk just a little bit on how the two meet. Just tell us about how, the visual arts and the graphic designing meet, because one is in the digital space and one is in the physical space. So tell us just how they meet.
Yeah, they meet because it's all about the creativity. The creativity you put in art and the creativity you put in design, they're all just the same. Because when you are an artist, then you be a designer, graphic designer specific. Your creativity will be more high than they. So they are just the same. It's because the other one is more digital than they.
Yeah. Okay, and we'll get to speak more about this, the two coming together. But first, let's start with visual arts. Tell us just your journey on it. 11 years, see jokes. You have become a master in, visual arts. And we have some amazing paintings over here. I don't know if you can see them. Near me, we have one here, a masterpiece. Tell us just a bit about this particular art.
Yeah, this is a portrait. This is a portrait. Its medium is acrylic on canvas.
Okay.
Acrylic on canvas. That is the type of paint that I used to paint on it.
Okay.
So it's for my clients, one of my best clients also.
Okay.
Yeah.
And the other painting we have to my father's right, we have a painting on nature and lion and a lioness there just Chilling. Tell us a bit about that particular art.
The lion nature there. Okay, about the lion, it's that is a wildlife painting.
Okay.
You know, when you see or when you start painting, you need to know what you're doing. And any piece of art has a deep meaning on it. So that is like togetherness.
Okay.
It's not just like a lion, just a painting. It is togetherness. You can come up with so many theme on that painting, but on my side, that is togetherness, and there is love, there is peace. When you just see them, there is peace. So that is all about the
okay. Tuambia about the next photo, we see Honorable Raila Natunona. I don't know, I think his relative. Tell us a bit. Tuambia about it. As
you know, Raila is a deputy prime minister. He was a former prime minister of Kenya, and he's an icon. He's a public figure. And the other guy is the brother of his. The son of his brother, Oburu.
The nephew. Okay. And it's a beautiful picture. I hope they're watching. Apokando tukona another photo of Honorable Gideon Moi. And when did you ulifanya linear? How much time do you take on a piece like that?
Okay, on a piece of painting, it depends with the painting that I'm doing. Like if it is abstract, it depends with the complexity of the painting. Like if it is a portrait, it can take, there is even those people who can take even 2 years, 1 year, 3 weeks, 3 months. So it depends with you there. And then also the details, when you want to capture all the details on the painting.
And you'll tell us about the details as we compare some, the legendary paintings that are there with, how you do your own painting later on. We have another one captured there of C.S. Matiang'i. That is a great photo. We have so many, and there's the difference between, there's the abstract and then there's the portrait. Give us an example, which one is abstract, which one is portrait, and tell us just a bit about it.
A portrait is something, it is the something which is live, like this. When you see it, you see live.
You bring life to it, see, come on, we see the general.
And then the abstract, it is a type of painting which has a hidden meaning on it. When you see it, on your side, you'll see so many things, and in my side, I'll see so many things. That is abstract.
That is abstract. Hiyo sasa ni kama illusion ile yenye mnatuchezeanga akili nayo. Tunatumia photo and then you see it's a whale. When you turn it upside down again, unaona rhino. Unashanga what's happening. So that's abstract, an illusion. Okay, and we have an abstract right here. If we can have it, let me just bring it a bit closer so that we just understand art, because today it's all about understanding art so that we come to appreciate it. We have this over here. So this is the abstract one.
Abstract.
So what are we supposed to, what is your, unataka lengo yako ni gani tukiona hii as you paint it? What do you want to?
It is to communicate. Art must communicate. Must give the information towards what you're doing. So when you see maybe something like that, you see there is some colors which are nimetumia kuchora, like color blue. Each and every color they have a meaning.
Okay, tell us
like
about
color
that.
Blue, it is a welcoming color. White, it is about peace. And there is warm. Those colors, like for example, when you use, like I was telling you about those people who have been in war, you're not supposed to use like color red. Those because they'll start to their memories to remember so many things that happened.
Also red I use it to make a spark memories, italeta trauma, and all that.
So you need to use like green, something like ocean. Art, it is used to ease your mind.
So nafaa relax, nikiona maji blue and then calms me down.
When you just enter in your house, maybe uko na stress nini, then iko pale tu mbele, you just feel like calm.
Relax. So that's why we need art. One of the importance of art for us. And then just tell us about some of the other differences, things that are represented in art. Maybe tumeona colors. What other thing? Nini nyingine kwa hapo?
About
when we see art, as in like color is supposed to represent something. Do you have other symbols? Kuna vitu zingine?
There is so many symbols that, for example, like for example, like this the politician.
Okay.
Like for example, like Matiang'i, isn't it? Ama like Badi. Badi, why he decided to maybe to paint him? It is because he's an icon. He's a public figure. He's a leader. As you can see, like there at Dagoretti Kawangware, there is some chochoro there. Wametengeneza, yani barabara iko poa sana, si kama kitambo, siwezi kudanganya. So you get inspired by this. So that is why I decided also to do for him a painting, at least to appreciate him.
Okay, let's start to the next question. Nini na kuinspire ukiketi chini drawing? Nini na kuinspire someone, something?
Yeah, it is just the environment. Yeah, the environment that you are living. That is what you capture. You know, when you are an artist, you need to specialize. There's some who are specialized maybe.
Okay.
You can find they do maybe like contemporary art. There is abstract art, portrait artists. They just specialize. So why do they specialize? Because they are living. You see, they are living, and also the activity which is happening there. Like for example, mtu mwenye ako Kenya and the person who is in like Congo, Rwanda, you'll see the different, because there have been wars, politically, so many. So the environment mostly huwa ina influence.
Okay. So na wewe kuna, apart from environment, kuna a specific person mwenye anakuinspire, alafu just your creativity space yako inakaje? Ina involve music, ina involve ka coffee hapo, you know. Juu tunajaribu kuangalia venye artist wanakaanga, how your day looks like as you paint and everything.
Mine, I don't say like ati huwa nasikiza maybe ati ngoma nikichora. No. Me by there I like somewhere where there is peace.
Calm.
Taki makelele mingi. You know, when you go to, like for example, in a studio, then you find an artist, he's concentrating on the piece. He won't talk too much. Just hi, mzuri sana, then anakwet tu. So watakaji kusumbuliwa sana.
So to say artist ni wapole in nature, calm, hawana maneno mingi.
Yeah, because the moment umeanza kuchora, you don't draw with your hand. It comes from inside.
Okay.
Yeah,
and niliona mahali imeandikwa artist, for artists it's more than visuals, it's perceptions, ndio. So you have to put in your feelings as you do your painting, do your drawing. Tell us a bit about that. The feelings zinatoka, as in the feelings that that particular piece that you're doing. Ama pia when you're all up in your feelings, maybe it's a way to vent out from it. Kutumia art.
About the feeling also, sometimes unajua ni stress pia. Unajua sometimes watu wanakuwaga na stress. So pia art huwa inasaidia sana. The moment uko kwa stress sana, ina ease your mind.
Okay.
You see? Like for me, nikiwa na stress, siwezi chora. Nitakosa control. For example, to stress ya vitu, unakaaga sometimes but there is those people wenye wakiwa na stress, that is the way, pia wanakaaga chini wanachora tu. But for me, nikiwa na stress, siwezi chora sana. Nitakaa like 1 hour tu nichore, then nitulie.
Relax. Na ni piece gani ushaifanya kwa wana hii, this is my masterpiece, ni ile?
There is another buffalo, but I didn't carry it. It's too big. Yeah, it's too big because I've come with a taxi, so ainge toshea ndani. Yeah, it's too big. That one I used 3 months to paint. It is acrylic on canvas. Yeah, 2 months to paint. The size is 150 centimeter by 2 meter.
Wow,
Yeah.
big one.
Yeah.
And okay, about time again. Tunaona like umesema art takes different portraits take different time depending also on the artist
details.
and the details. And like this famous painting, Mona Lisa. We are told that Leonardo took 12 years just doing the lips alone. So how is that now? How you compared to how you also do your own art?
Compared to mine on my side, like maybe artist wa Kenya, you know those days like na Leonardo, they were being vitu zao chakula nini walikuwa wanapatiwa na makings.
Oh, okay.
You see? So mtu ana haraka. So ni kukaa tu.
Una relax.
Wewe ni kurelax. But sasa for example kama maybe hapa hivi umepatiwa order ya body. So unaona huwezi chora ati mwaka mzima because also you need to pay rent, unafaa ulipe nyumba, ulipe ofisi. But those people in Leonardo, those famous people by the way, they were being kept. Yani walikuwa wanapatiwa kila kitu na makings. So kazi yao ilikuwa ni kukaa chini na kuchora tu.
Oh, okay. And then for you, how do you put value on your painting? How do you value it, and how do we value it also? Perception ya watu wakinunua painting and everything.
Yeah, about the value, also it depends with the material. The material also that you're using, and time also. There was a madam who wanted to buy a painting from this famous artist.
Okay.
So he went there and told the painter to do a small sketch of an abstract. So he before he did the painting, he asked the painter how much could it be done like for this. So the painter took a small canvas like this. Then he took the brush. Then even 20 minutes did end like before he finished the job. Haikuisha. Alimaliza tu haraka. So the art collector, he was like, so how much will it be cost for that abstract? Then the artist said 30 million. So he was shocked. Why? No.
How come?
You just took 20. Yeah, you just took 20 minutes to do this painting. Why? Like in Kenya, you say at 300,000, maybe umechora hapo saa hiyo, they're going to be hata mtu ataanguka. So the artist responded. That is why I'm going to answer your question about value. Responded that he practiced 30 years in order to do in that minute.
In 30 minutes.
He was practicing 30 years. So like for me, my experience is 11 years. That is according to where I started my profession. But kitambo bado I was when I was a kid, nilikuwa bado nachora tu madesk wa shule nini. Then you get inspired with or you get mentored with someone. Then una pass through. So that is how it doesn't matter with time or the material. An art, you can take like these shoes of mine. You can go there at a museum, art gallery. Shoes like this, then you hang it. Then unatarua na magilia rangi. That is art.
That is art.
Even that sweater you are wearing, the jacket, the half coat you are wearing.
It is art.
Just
Everything
art.
we do.
You can just paint, then you do like this, then you hang it. That is 100,000.
Kwa art. Creativity imeingia kwa hiyo.
But those will matter with the people who know what is art.
So how do we come to, as we also come to the end of our conversation, how do we appreciate art? Sisi kama the other side, people don't really understand art, so they don't really appreciate art. So how can we come to interpret it, and how can we change the state that we are in as a country to value art? Kama Mona Lisa, it's valued at around 18.6 billion in the size currently, but in Kenya, we don't have that kind of value in art. So what should we do? How should we come about it?
Okay, in Kenya, there is this the Ministry of Sports and Culture. Because when you want to register upande field ya art, you register like on an organization. So for them, maybe a suggestion to them, they should organize some exhibition consistency. That consistency will at least help. Then also for the buyers like you guys, I'm up here, the art collectors, they should buy directly to the artist.
Okay.
Directly to the artist owner. And then there is 3 ways of appreciating an artwork of an artist. Either by buying, or giving that person publicity, or giving that person morale. So morale, tutaka kwa watu wa mtaa. By the way, I was given, nile mtu anapata tu unachora kitu, then he tells me, wow, this is nice, manze, endelea. So he cannot buy, but at least atakupatia usaid. Unaona? Either by buying, by buying, lazima utatege. Sasa mtu kama huyu lazima body, general, yatanunua, Matiang'i yatanunua. So huwezi tegemea ati akwambia ati kwa saa alafu aende.
Ina depend na state.
Or by giving the publicity, 3, by giving the publicity, that is why how artists should be supported also, like this media. At least kukuwa na hiyo consistency ya kuitaga maybe watu, and I really appreciate for that calling me here also. Kukuwa na hiyo watu artists wanaitwa, you see, you know, art, it is you're being told your network
is your network.
It is your network.
Wow.
When you don't have that network, then
you don't have any.
Utachoreaga tu kwa nyumba tu. Zitakaa kwa nyumba. But when you have that network, then it will be more easier. So at least for KBC also, I'll suggest that also wakuwa wanaalika
We'll continue with that. Thank you very much. We appreciate you. We have come to learn about art, and we'll continue appreciating art. So we've had it from Ramadan. The least you can do to support art, just give moral support, publicity through social media, anything that you can do. If you can buy it, then buy it. Don't undervalue art because maybe your perception of the time that has been taken is little, because they invest so much in it. It takes heart. It's more than visual. It's perception, their feelings, and everything that they have invested in it. Let's support art and let it drive our economy. So that has been it from us. This is Entertainment Thursday. Good morning, Kenya. And from our team, we wish you a splendid weekend ahead. Let's meet next week. But before we go, Ramadan wants to tell us where we can get him. Where can we get you? Sorry.
Yeah, you can find me on Twitter, RamsArtBT. Instagram, RamsArtBT, and Facebook, RamsArtBT. Then my number is 0716022528, and also do design, also the field of design also. Banner, sticker, nini, 3D signage.
Thank you. You are multi-talented, and we shall continue supporting you. Get him on his social media, and his number, he does graphic design and visual arts. From us, we wish you a great weekend ahead. Bye-bye. Adios.
Thank you.
Mitikasi leo, makala kutoka BBC yaliyomo. Tunaangazia uhusiano kati ya Afrika na bara Europa, huku Umoja wa Ulaya ukizindua uwekezaji wa zaidi ya dola bilioni 300. Baadaye wabunge wa Afrika Kusini wapinga mpango wa kurekebisha katiba ili kutoa nafasi kwa unyakuzi wa ardhi bila fidia. Kisha tunapigia darubini uhusiano kati ya China na bara la Afrika. Tunakujia moja kwa moja kutoka Nairobi, Kenya. Usibanduke. Karibu katika habari za biashara zinazokuhusu, uchambuzi wa kina na mahojiano. Jina langu ni Hamida Abubakar. Umoja wa Ulaya EU umezindua mkakati wa uwekezaji wa kimataifa wa dola bilioni 340, huku tume hiyo ikisema nchi zinahitaji washiriki wanaoaminika ili kubuni miradi endelevu. Pesa hizo zitapatikana kutoka kwa nchi wanachama, taasisi za fedha na sekta binafsi kwa kiasi kikubwa, na zitachukua mfumo wa dhamana au mikopo. Kulingana na makadirio ya Benki ya Dunia, nchi za kipato cha chini na cha kati zilikuwa zinakabiliwa na pengo la dola trilioni 2.7 katika uwekezaji wa miundombinu kabla ya janga la COVID-19. Mpango mpya wa Umoja wa Ulaya unatarajia kuziba pengo hili na utazingatia maeneo matano muhimu ambayo ni usafiri, nishati safi, uwekezaji, afya, elimu na sekta za utafiti. Afrika inatarajiwa kuwa kitovu kikuu cha